back in here, man. We're back in here, bro. We're back in here. Yeah. Salute everybody. Hold on, let me get it up. We are back. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Check out some shit. Hold on. Hold on. It ain't. Wait a minute.
If it was alcohol and coke, he would slur. He would go on these paranoid, delusional rants about
And
things
she's
that
going.
didn't make any sense.
We're up.
You know, his speech would be slurred. I almost never knew him to use cocaine without drinking. Those were generally combined. When he would smoke
I ran
weed,
to the
he
stove,
was
man.
much more
I had to run
relaxed.
to the
It's kind of
stove.
what you would expect, happy on a couch,
I know.
laughing. But when he was drinking, he would just get very angry, and he would just say really nasty, unkind things, and it almost didn't, usually about Amber, sometimes about me, but it almost didn't matter if she was in the room or not. He would
Oh,
just
this
say
bitch is an enemy.
really horrible things about
Enemy
her
of the
or to
state
her.
right here.
Can you give the jury a few examples that you can recall?
Pardon my language, fucking cunt. He called her a fucking used up trash bag, slimy whore,
Yeah.
saggy whore. Just, you know, fucking cunt was thrown out a bunch.
That's cool.
Just horrible things like that.
I agree with those. I
I'm
agree
going
with
to take you
those.
to March 21st, 2013. We've called it the painting or Keith Richards incident. When did you arrive at the Orange apartment on March 21st, 2013?
It was sometime in the afternoon.
Ooh, the cross is going to be beautiful.
Sometime in the afternoon. I
cross.
came in and Orange was typically a very neat, clean place, but as soon as I walked in, there was smoke in the air. Remember, it smelled like cigarette smoke and there was smoke in the air. So somebody had been smoking inside, which was odd because Amber and I don't smoke, and Johnny used to always just go outside to smoke. But walking a little bit further in, there was like furniture askew. Going into the kitchen, there was, you know, Johnny was sat at our little breakfast nook table that we had there, and he was wearing glasses. He had, you know, there was cocaine in front of him. There was booze in front of him, journal, like no newspaper, things like that, just kind of scattered around at the table. And I sat down to talk to him to see what was going on. And it was really hard to understand what he was getting at. It was really clear that he had been drinking for some time. His speech was slurred, and again, it was really hard to follow what he was trying to tell me. At first, he seemed to be upset that my sister had been photographed with our friend Marie in France. He then
that's
started
the
saying
sister.
that it must have meant that she was
Oh,
having an affair
shit.
with her, and you know,
I knew it
everyone
was an
laughing
enemy.
at her, and this woman, her father was a French politician, so he then starts rambling on about, oh, he knows what her father's up to, and her this, that, and the other, and again, it was just this strange paranoid tailspin is the only way I can describe it. That just, it wasn't true. My sister wasn't having an affair with this person.
Objection, Your Honor. I think this is pretty non-responsive at this point.
All right, next question. Sustain the objection.
Please describe what your conversations were and your observations were with Mr. Depp.
So as I'm sitting there talking to him, Amber is in the kitchen, and you know, she's not sat at the table or anything. She's kind of hanging back, and Johnny's still talking to me about what the problem was. And then all of a sudden the focus shifts to this painting that has been on the wall ever since Amber and I moved in. And the painting was done by one of my sister's exes. So he was convinced that it was on the wall to taunt him, to tease him, and how disrespectful that he had to wake up next to this painting. And it surely meant that Amber and Tasha were back together again, which of course was not true. But he was then upset about that. He was upset about this painting that was on the wall. I was trying to talk to him, not only to just try to figure out what was going on, but I was trying to get him out of the house because he was already very late for filming this documentary that was being shot at one of his houses.
Was that with Keith Richards?
Correct.
Okay.
That was my understanding of it.
Please continue.
So for hours we sat there. I was trying to, talk to him, make him feel like everything was okay, just try to get him out of the house. His assistant kept coming in and out at one point. And all the while, Amber is just in the kitchen. She's like giving us space, but she's in earshot, and he's saying these things about her. And at one point, she tries to come over to like check on him, and she kind of embraces him from behind, and he's just like, fuck off, and continues to say these things about her. And again, we sat there forever, and eventually we did get him to leave the house. So, but he insisted that Amber come too, and that if they were going to work it out, she'd have to be there, and they would talk about it at some other point, I guess.
Let me just stop you for a minute. What, if any, injuries did you observe on Amber at that time?
At the time, it was before I had a real understanding of what was going on. It was pretty, I didn't know, frankly. And her face was swollen, but I didn't, and it was kind of red. I thought she had just been crying. And her lip did appear to be cut. But again, that at the time, that wasn't what we were trying to do. It wouldn't have been appropriate to, talk to her about it or anything. That wasn't my focus, frankly. My focus was just sitting there trying to figure out what he was upset about and get him out of the house.
So how long were you at Orange with Mr. Depp and Amber before he left to go to the Keith Richards?
A few hours. I couldn't say, maybe around like 4 or 5 hours.
It's up.
It took a minute.
Now, did you accompany Mr. Depp over
It's
to
up.
the recording, or did you stay?
I did.
And did Amber go too?
Correct.
Sister is in the
part of
building.
condition of him
I'm
leaving,
ready for the
is that Amber had
cross.
to go with us.
All right, well, please describe to the jury what happened next then on your ride over there.
So Amber and Johnny were sitting in the back. I was in the front with Sterling, the driver, and they weren't saying much back there. There was music playing pretty loudly, so I couldn't really hear what was going on back there. But at some point I heard the back door open, or the back window open, and Johnny is holding our dog out the window.
Johnny is
And
holding the dog out the window.
I froze. I was scared because I just remember thinking, I knew how inebriated he was, and the dog was very small. I thought if she twitched or if he lost her,
we
somehow,
immediately
she's just
got
gonna go out the window.
Johnny torturing animals,
And Amber, of course, was just saying,
accusing him
Objection,
of
Your Honor.
torturing animals.
Not often to prove the truth of the matter asserted, Your Honor.
Salute everybody that's in
Don't
here
say
right
what Amber
now.
said. Just go ahead and continue with your observations.
Hit the like
brought
on the
dog
way
back
in.
into the car, and he was just laughing, this really scary, loud, like it was almost like a cackle. And he then made some joke
Johnny
about putting her
Depp
in the
laughing like a
microwave.
demon while
That
holding
was
the dog
joke
out the
after that was
window.
putting the dog in the microwave.
Okay. So during the year 2013, what, if any, marks did you observe on Amber? Any injuries or signs of markings, anything like that?
Occasionally I'd see bruising, cut lips, split lips, weird marks, burns, or I don't know, on her arm, scratches on her arm, things like that. It was just weird, and it was periodic. It wasn't like a constant thing, but there were injuries to her.
And what, if anything, did you do? Did you ask her about them?
I did at some point confront her and ask her, and she,
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Sister is cleaning up to get the bread.
Don't tell
Sustain
us.
the objection.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay. But you did ask her about them.
Yes.
Objection.
Teaming up to get the bread.
That's fine.
That's, okay, thank you, Your Honor. All right, I'm going to take you to June 2013, Hicksville. Were you in attendance at that event with Mr. Depp and Amber?
Yes, yes.
Please describe for the jury what you can recall from that event.
So Hicksville
I
is
think the
like
second
this,
half is going to be up.
it's
This
this
is
like
going to be
collection
up.
of themed Airstreams. It's like a little, it's in the middle of the desert. It's just like a fun little place to go. So we went with a group of our friends. And yeah, so each one of us had our
This
own
gonna be
little
more
Airstream
up.
or whatever. So my partner and I at the time, we got there last. So as we're going around checking out the different Airstreams, because again, each one of them had a different theme. So
This
it was
is the
kinda
bitch
fun
to
see,
show
you know,
Johnny
who was
how
staying,
to
which theme or
how
whatever.
to do cocaine
I
from
opened Amber and Johnny's, and
a
there's cocaine
tampon
on the table.
from the
I mean, I
tampon
didn't really think much
applicator.
of it at the time. I was just like, all right.
Remember
fine.
that.
We're all here to have fun.
This is
And
a
that
bitch who
night,
showed a
you know, we
nigga
sat around the campfire.
how to do
everyone
cocaine.
was drinking. Some people were taking shrooms, you know. And then I drank too much, and I went to bed early before everyone else. And then the next day, you know, when everyone was cleaning up, I had heard about something that had happened the night before, and an altercation that
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Don't tell us what you heard. Go ahead and just tell the jury what you observed.
I observed people cleaning up after what appeared to be just a night of friends hanging out. I then went to my sister's trailer, where she was staying with Johnny, and it looked like a bomb went off in there. There was broken things, things had been skewed. It just looked incredibly messy. It looked like somebody had ransacked it. That's what I observed.
Okay. Now I'm going to take you to September 2013. What, if anything, did you do with Mr. Depp relating to
Remember,
going to London?
So September 2013, that was around the time of my birthday. Amber was filming in London, and she wasn't able to make it back for my birthday. And it was also
This the
a
ugly
friend of ours,
sister.
Io, also has a birthday the same time.
This the
or around
ugly
the same
sister.
time as me. And Johnny thought it would be great to load up and surprise Amber on set. He thought she would really enjoy it, and so that's what we did. We loaded up, we went on a plane that he chartered, and I believe my father was with us as well. And yeah, Johnny and I
taking care of pops.
drank and did a lot of cocaine on that plane, and I ended up passing out. But we get to London, and you know, it was wonderful to see Amber, and we had a dinner that night at the hotel that we were staying at, or it was either that night or the next night, I can't remember exactly. But at one point, Johnny picked up a steak knife and he hurled it at his assistant. It missed him, but obviously Nathan
Threw
got
a
upset.
steak
and
knife
he
at
left,
his
and
assistant.
He was upset as well.
He threw a steak knife at his
And
assistant.
A fight broke out between Amber and Johnny that night. I didn't witness it. I wasn't there. I knew that they
Objection,
were.
Your Honor, lack of foundation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay,
Next
so-
question.
So you can't tell us about it if you weren't there. So
Okay.
what happened next that you were aware of?
I left sometime after that. And when I touched down in Los Angeles,
Salute.
I learned that
Everybody in the
objection-
chat.
Not after you
Salute.
proved the truth of the
I'll
matter,
sustain
Your
the
Honor.
objection. Next question.
When did they get engaged?
They got engaged at some point when I was on the plane. I left London. By the time I landed in
They
London,
got
they were
engaged when they was on the plane.
Now I'm going to jump all the way to November 2014.
On the same flight, he threw a steak knife.
The 2014 Hollywood Film Awards. What, if any, involvement did you have with Mr. Depp relating to the Hollywood Film Awards?
I was called over to where he was getting ready, 80.
And when you say 80, are we talking about Sweetser?
Yes, that's one of the houses that is on that street that Johnny had. He had several houses on that street. 80 was
Several
the one that,
houses
he
on
referred
that
to as, like,
street.
the man cave. That's where he spent a lot of time. So I was summoned to 80. Again, following a fight that he and my sister
That's
were having.
exactly how I would
And
kick it.
Objection, Your Honor.
I would have a bunch of houses, and I would be in one house, and them bitches in another house.
Just go on, just don't talk about what you weren't party to.
And I would be in the man
You got
cave
there.
all the
Please
time.
tell the
Sustained
jury,
objection, go ahead.
okay, please tell the jury what you observed, what happened
Sure.
when you were there.
Sure. When I got there, Johnny was outside and he was very drunk already, and he was continuing to drink. He was, again,
Everybody
rambling about my sister having
hit the like
affairs
on the
with
way in.
people that it just wasn't true, and just kept saying things. It was, that she doesn't need to work, and he doesn't understand why she continues to take jobs. She must be doing it to insult him or to hurt him, or she's only taking these jobs because she wants to meet people. I don't know. The entire time that we were talking, his sister and his, assistants at one point, everyone was trying to get him out of the house because he was already very
It's the
late for
ugly
this.
sister.
But eventually they did get him to leave the house. And yeah, I saw the award show later at some point.
She showed
What
Johnny
did you
how to do
observe when you watched
cocaine
the award show?
with the
Unfortunately, an
tampon
extension of what I
applicator.
had seen at the house. He was still very drunk, actually a little bit more drunk than when I saw him at the house.
And what was he doing that caused you to believe he was very drunk?
Well, he was drinking the entire time that we were talking. And, in general, at this point, I had understood what Johnny looks like when he's drunk. He's stammering. His speech was hard to understand. He was
Why can't he be
slurring.
drunk?
He was super unsteady on his feet. I recognize what he looks like. when
Super
he's drunk.
facts, Mac Life. This the
Now I'm
ugly
going to
sister.
take you to March 23rd, 2015.
This the sister to go get the dope.
And
She
at
go
this
she go
time,
pick up the
were you
cocaine for
living
us.
at the penthouse suites?
I was.
Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry.
When approximately did you move into the penthouse suites?
So this bitch moved in the penthouse suites. She's living off of Johnny.
I want to. I
Everybody's
actually
living
don't
off of
know
Johnny.
for sure when I moved in.
Everybody's living off
It
of
would take me
Johnny.
a minute to remember. It was sometime in 2000.
Notate this.
14, I think.
Okay. And so as of March 23rd,
A
2015.
person
you're
that was
there,
living in
correct?
his house is
Yes.
And
testifying against
Where
her.
are you living in those penthouse suites? What is it called?
So I was in what they call PH4.
PH4.
The layout is, the entire top floor of this building. Johnny owns them all, and he was kind enough to let us all live there. So
Facts.
I was in PH4. Amber and Johnny were in PH3. I believe Isaac was in 2, and Rocky
Johnny
and Josh
taking
were in
Johnny
1.
taking care
But
of
the
all
only ones
these
that actually
motherfuckers.
connected were 3, 4, and 5. So again, I was kind of sandwiched
Johnny
between where
taking
Johnny and
care of all
Amber
these
stayed
motherfuckers.
and Amber's basically closet. So basically you had to cut through to get to one point to the other. So I was sleeping. I woke up to Amber in my bedroom saying, "Can you believe he's cheating on me?"
Objection, Your Honor.
You're not offered to prove the truth of the matter, sir. Thank you.
Overruled. Go
Thank you. Please continue.
She said something.
No, she said overruled. It's okay
Oh.
for you to say what.
Oh,
just
sorry.
Just briefly what you just explained.
I woke up to her saying, "Can you believe he's cheating on me? Your fucking brother's cheating on me." I got up. I told her to stay right there.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
It's not offered to prove the truth of the matter
That's
asserted.
overruled for that statement, go ahead.
Please continue.
I instructed her to stay in my apartment while I go and talk to Johnny. So I leave PH4. I leave her in PH4.
And let me just stop. Are you sober, drunk? Have you been drinking?
Oh, rare occasions where I was sober. It was in the middle of the night. I was asleep.
So I'm sorry, I'm not sure that I understood your question. So you were sober?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Please continue.
So I go to PH5 where Johnny, Debbie, and Travis were all standing in the kitchen of PH5. I went down there to talk to him, and again, I can tell he's clearly drunk, and he has a bottle of alcohol of some sort in front of him as well. And again, he's talking to me about how Amber found these text messages between him and a woman called Rochelle. And then he starts saying that this woman was meaningless. It wasn't anything special. She's nothing special. But then he immediately shifted to, well, Amber pushed me. Amber made me do it. And of course I'm cheating on her, whatever. And it suddenly became about Amber making him do it.
I can't wait for the cross.
At some point, then Amber is on the mezzanine level of PH5.
cross.
So she is, it's kind of hard to explain. So the kitchen's down here and the mezzanine's up here. So she's there, it's her little office nook, and she starts shouting at him, saying,
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
It's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted, Your Honor. She's screaming expletives at him. I mean, that's not offered to prove the truth.
Overruled.
Thank you. Please continue.
they're saying horrible things to one another. Fuck you. He's calling her a fucking whore, fucking cunt, used up trash bag, whatever. They were saying horrible things to one another. She
Is
was
that
calling
really
him
bad
old and
word?
fat.
Is that really bad
It was a
word?
fight. They were saying really nasty things to one another.
Is that really bad?
I leave them in the kitchen to go up the stairs, was trying to calm Amber down, hopefully get her back into my apartment. And Debbie had come up with me.
And Debbie, who's Debbie?
Debbie was his nurse at the
Debbie
time.
Lloyd?
The nigga had
yes,
a
I believe
nurse
that was her
on
name.
deck.
So we're with Amber on the mezzanine level.
I'm sorry, just so we know who we're is.
Johnny
Is it you and
Depp.
Debbie that are with Amber, or is it?
Yes, Debbie,
He's got a
Amber, and I
nurse
are
on
on the
deck.
little mezzanine area.
Nurse on
And as I
deck.
mentioned, the mezzanine overlooks the kitchen and the living room. So Johnny then hurls a Red Bull can and it hits Debbie in the back. She didn't even react. She didn't really seem to notice.
Johnny hit a bitch with a Red
But
Bull.
I'm standing up there talking.
Was
I'm
it
standing up
full
there
or
at
empty?
the top of the
Was
stairs,
it full
my
or
back to
empty?
the
That make a
stairs.
difference. If it was
And
full,
that's when Johnny
then you
runs
fucked the
up
bitch
the
up.
stairs. And
If it was
when
empty, it's
again,
like,
I'm
whatever.
facing Amber. He comes up behind me, strikes me in the back, kind of just somewhere over here. He strikes me in the back. I hear Amber shout, "Don't hit my fucking sister." She smacks him, lands one, and then he grabs. At that point, that's when Travis runs up the stairs after Amber landed one. But by that time, Johnny had already grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand and was whacking her repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there. Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me and lock them. I then hear Johnny's voice shouting.
Never mind.
Withdraw. Okay, sorry.
I hear Johnny's voice shouting, I fucking hate you. I hate you both. You fucking cunts. You fucking whores. And I hear crashing. I hear crashing and banging and smashing and they start screaming like an animal.
Yeah.
And I then just moved Amber into the next room and I just kept her there all night. The next day, I go and I see her closet has been completely destroyed. Racks were overturned. Yeah, one of the clothing racks had been like tossed down the stairs. There was art off the wall. And down in the kitchen, there was broken glass. The place was destroyed.
Michelle, can you bring up Defendant's Exhibit 400?
Michelle's a cold ass bitch. Cold ass bitch, Michelle,
Do you
living off of
recognize
Johnny
this-
up here
this
telling on it.
text exchange here?
I do.
Okay, and it's on March 23, 2015 at 6:57, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, could you describe, just
Objection, Your Honor.
identify it, please?
Yep, sorry, on hearsay grounds.
All right, you want to approach? We'll just take a look.
As they approach the bench, how do you feel about this bitch? Put up a 1 if you think she's untrustworthy as fuck. Scum of the earth bitch right here. Living off of Johnny. And now up in here telling on Johnny. Oh my God, you gotta be mindful of the people you have around you. Do you really need to have all these people around you? Even if you're highly paid, do you really need to have these motherfuckers around? You got to clear out the house. All y'all motherfuckers get out. Get out. You understand me? All around here trying to set me up. My bitch trying to set me up. And they got motherfuckers helping her, trying to set me up. All y'all motherfuckers get the fuck out. I can't believe he didn't see this, man. It's so amazing. Your wife is your enemy. And she bring in her family and friends to help her set you up and so she can hit a lick on you, man. It's a cold-ass game, Johnny Depp. This is all Johnny's fault. Johnny Depp, this is y'all your fault. All this bullshit right here, man. This is all sucker shit, man. You just should have seen this from the gate, man. Oh, man. What did my people say? A pretty face and a well-fucked ass. Pretty face and a well-fucked ass. Shout out to Damien. Shout out to Damien, Dr. Damien. Pretty face and a well-fucked ass, bro. Now, this bitch, the sister, man, this is the essence. The ugly sister. My sidekick, Amber Heard's sidekick, and all her dirt right here. Living off of Johnny 2, moved the bitch up into the penthouse. Dirty bitch. You bitches. Some dirty bitches. These is dirty bitches. What else you got to say, dirty bitch? What you gonna say now? Look at her. Oh, my God.
So this is, can we publish, Your Honor?
Yes, it's in evidence, yeah.
Thank you. So, Whitney, this is dated March 23rd, 2015, 6:57. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's to Kevin. Who's Kevin?
Kevin Murphy, he was Johnny's
Motherfuckers
assistant
sending
manager.
pictures.
Okay. And then, Michelle, if you can scroll up.
They sending pictures.
Stop at the first one. Can you please describe to the jury what this is?
Sending pictures.
That is one of Amber's clothing racks on the stairs that lead up to the bedroom area.
Okay. And you took this picture?
I did.
Okay.
Of course she
Michelle,
did.
can you scroll up again? And please describe for the jury what's
Can't wait
depicted
for the
in this
cross.
photo.
These
The
are more of Amber's
cross-examination.
racks. These were her shoes and purses and such. Those were all like taken off the walls. And you can see here all of her clothes
See
are on
how
the
she
floor.
was doing it, man. She had big
Okay.
shelving. Ooh, that's a nice space.
And
That's a nice
the next
space she
one,
got
could you
there
please
for her
describe what the next
for her
picture
wardrobe.
depicts?
More
Look
of the
at
same,
that bitch.
clothing
Oh!
racks that have been
She's looking
kinda
great
toppled
over there.
or moved.
That
They
shock of
they
blonde
were
hair.
Neat. It
Gotta
looked
feel
like
sorry for that bitch.
Closet room, but these
You
ones were
know.
just toppled over and moved. This is the room that adjoined.
They
my room.
identify. They must have identified somebody in the jury. It must be some dudes in the jury
Next one.
feeling.
And could you describe for the jury, please, what this is?
That's another clothing rack that has been taken down and taken apart, kind of.
Did Johnny do it? How do we know Johnny did
The
that?
next one, and please describe for the
How
jury
do we
what's
know
depicted
Johnny
here.
did that?
Just more clothing racks that have been taken down, moved.
Do we have? How do we know Johnny did that?
And please describe for the jury what's depicted here.
Same thing, just
Hey.
more clothing racks that were toppled over.
I could go in and fuck up a room and then tell you who did it.
The next one,
And this is the kitchen area.
Oh,
This is
shit.
the taken from the mezzanine level that I was describing earlier, but that looks like broken glass
Oh my God.
or something, blue ceramic, broken.
okay, and if we go up, and the top one there looks like part of what was earlier. Let's go to the bottom one. I think
Oh,
we have
my
a bigger
God. Give me a
picture there. Does
like.
that help with
Yes.
what's depicted there?
I still can't tell what it was, maybe a plate of some sort, but there's also a rolled cigarette, a couple bottles of water. But yeah, whatever that blue thing is, it was broken. That's what's all over the
Hey,
kitchen there
man.
and also next to the stove.
That don't look that bad.
Thank you.
It looked like a nice room to
After the
me.
staircase
Fuck.
incident, what, if anything, did Mr. Depp ask you to sign?
There was an NDA on
Okay.
my kitchen table.
Can you tell the jury what an NDA is?
It's a non-disclosure agreement. It's basically
And you
my
disclosing some
understanding
shit
is it's
right
a
now.
contract to keep things private, to keep your mouth shut, essentially.
And you disclosing
You were
shit.
given one or asked to sign one?
I was asked to sign one. I don't believe I signed it. I left sometime after.
So you moved out after that?
Yes, it was after this point that Johnny had accused me of selling stories to the media. which
Yeah, bitch.
were absolutely
You probably
untrue, but
was.
I moved out after that point.
Yeah, get out.
Now, did there come a time that Amber asked you to move back in?
Yes, February 2016, she texted me asking me to come back.
Okay.
Damn,
And-
boy.
So
The
you were
enemy, living
her
with
from
your
February,
enemy.
sometime in February
Johnny Depp, what the
2016
fuck,
forward?
bro?
I think on and off. I think I had my own apartment by then, but I spent a lot more time at the Eastern after that.
Okay. I'm going to take you to April 21, 2016, Amber's 30th birthday party. Were you present for that?
Of course
was.
you
Can you
was.
please describe to the jury what you observed that night?
It was her 30th birthday, so we
So a
wanted to
bitch was
make it,
depressed.
excuse me, really special.
A bitch was
We
depressed.
had made
Getting
this beautiful
old.
dinner.
Ain't
You know, and
20s
it
no
was
more.
great. All of her close friends were there, and everyone was having a really good time. Everyone was having fun. You know, Johnny showed up very, very late, and he was drunk when he showed
Of
up.
course he was.
Amber was obviously upset about it, but there came a time in the party where we all went around the table and said our favorite thing about Amber, you know, just funny memories or whatever.
Praise Amber.
When it came to Johnny's turn, he
Clown a bitch.
told this story about how they first met when they met for the Rum Diary. So, you know, he had this story about how she came in to his office and she sat on the couch and her perfect ass left a perfect imprint on the couch, and he wouldn't let anyone sit there after she left that day. And it was one of those stories that everyone was kind of embarrassed. You know, we had all gone around the table saying really nice things about her, and
That
guess
is a
when
nice
talking about
thing.
her ass.
That's not a nice thing, bitch. Come on,
we
man.
were all
You mad because
kind
he
of
didn't say that shit
embarrassed.
about you.
And
See, she
when
jealous
did you
of her
leave the
sister,
party
but
that
she
night?
got to fuck with her sister. You
I
feel me?
left pretty shortly after that.
Okay.
And I went home.
It's a
What, if any,
disgruntled
conversation
bitch.
did you have with Mr. Depp about his
Look at this
plans
bitch
to attend
forehead.
Coachella the next
It's a
day?
disgruntled
He was
bitch
planning on
right
coming
here.
to Coachella with us. You know, at some point we were talking about what was happening the next day, and so that night he told us he was going to come to Coachella with us the next day.
Okay.
They was like,
And did
no,
he
we don't
ultimately
want you to
Coachella
come.
with you the next day?
No.
Okay.
We don't want you to
I'm
come,
going to jump
Johnny.
forward to talk about
We can't be hoes
some
if you
statements that
come.
made the counterclaim. What, if any, observations did you make about how the statements, we're talking about the three
Where's
statements
Camille at?
that we're quoting Adam Waldman, impacted Amber? And I'm asking for your observations. Just tell the jury what your observations were of how these statements impacted Amber.
Objection, Your Honor. Compound lack of
Where's
foundation.
Camille at?
Overruled, that's fine.
Thank you.
Amber has worked so hard to overcome everything that she went through in the duration of their relationship. She has really, really tried her best to move past it. And anybody that knows Amber at all knows that some of the most important things to her are honesty, integrity. Her reputation is all
my
she has.
God.
She doesn't have piles of money and private islands or
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain the objection.
she
please
was
continue with what
she
she
was
said.
devastated by these. To say that they're not true, it devastated her. And also, we had just buried our mother. You know, so Amber, she started having panic attacks randomly. She was not sleeping.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
These are your observations.
overruled.
Thank you. Please continue.
These statements devastated her.
Amber
They
just was
devastated
way
her because
better
they
than
weren't
that bitch.
true, and They were just very, very, very much affected.
Amber looks great.
You talked about panic attacks.
Compared to
what else
that
did you
bitch.
observe that she would do as a result of these? A physical.
She would just like periodically just break into tears. She, I don't know how else to describe it. She was so unwell. She stopped sleeping again. She was super anxious. She couldn't relax. She couldn't sit still. It was very similar to the Amber that I had seen back in 2016 as she was trying to get out of this relationship. It launched her back into this space where she was just so physically unwell, and she cried a lot.
Everybody is preoccupied with taking care of Amber.
Good afternoon, Ms. Enriquez. We haven't met before. My name's Rebecca Lecaros. I'm one of the lawyers representing Mr. Depp in this case. You grew up in Texas with your sister and your parents, right?
Correct.
And you were really close with Ms. Heard
There we
growing
go.
up?
We were.
And you're still close now, right?
We are.
Here we go.
And you love her.
Of course.
Here we go.
And your childhood, though, had some difficult moments, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Your father hit you and your sister at times, right?
Father whooped your ass.
Yes.
And your sister would protect you from that abuse when she could, wouldn't she?
Father whooped your ass.
We would protect each other, for sure.
And when you graduated from high school, you moved out to Los Angeles, right?
I did.
And your sister gave you a place to live in LA?
Yes.
And she helped support you?
In part, I also was working myself, and yeah,
And you're grateful to her for being there when you needed her, right?
Grateful to.
of course.
And just like she protected and cared for you, you want to protect and care for her, right?
She
It's about to go up.
when
I'm
I
feeling
can,
it.
of course.
I'm
but
feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
You testified to having a great
feeling
relationship
it.
with Mr. Depp when you first started dating your sister, right?
Correct.
And you thought of him as a brother?
Yes.
He called you sis?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you had affectionate nicknames for him too, didn't you?
A number of them, yes.
Yeah.
What was some of that?
And you testified that for a time you lived in the ECB penthouses with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard.
Lived in
That's
the
correct.
penthouse.
And Mr. Depp owned those penthouses?
He did.
You didn't pay rent while you were living there, right?
Didn't pay rent, bitch, did ya?
No. It's very generous.
Ungrateful hoe.
And Rocky Pennington lived in one of those
Ungrateful
penthouses, right?
hoe.
She did.
And at some point, her boyfriend Josh Drew moved in, right?
Yes.
Everybody
And
living
Isaac
off of
Bruce,
Johnny.
lived in one of those penthouses too. Yes.
Free.
And you know that he testified here that you call him your spirit animal, right?
I did not know that, but he's wonderful.
You call him your spirit animal?
At one point I did, yes.
Yeah, you did, bitch. You loved them. You
took trips
loved
with your
them.
sister and Mr. Depp also, right?
It was taking
Okay.
care of y'all,
You didn't pay for
motherfucker.
those either, right?
Nope. I did not.
During the course of
Shout out
Mr.
to the
Depp and
bitch
Ms.
in the
Heard's
audience with the
relationship,
pink on.
you
Shout
were
out to the
frequently
bitch in the
involved in
audience with the
arguments,
pink
weren't
on.
Yes.
She's standing out.
you? In fact, you had a nickname, right?
Marriage counselor.
Yes. You often found yourself mediating
Oh.
disputes between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, right?
They're about
Really
to get
not
it
very well, but
cracking.
yes.
And when you were in that role of marriage counselor, you empathized with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes, on occasion.
Yeah,
Because you had a pretty good understanding of what he was going through.
yeah.
Depended on the situation.
You know
Sometimes
Amber
I
is a
could totally see from
bitch.
his
You know
perspective.
she's
Other
a
times I saw from her
bitch. You know
perspective.
she hard to
You've been there
deal
with
with.
Ms. Heard before, right?
Come on now.
We're sisters. Of course we've argued.
And you knew what it was like to want to run away for days and do your own thing and not have Ms. Heard there fighting with you, right?
I think that's kind of taken out of context a little bit. I think more metaphorically. But yes, I have been in arguments with my sister.
And you have wanted to run away for days, right?
Sure,
And not have her there fighting with you.
sure.
You wanted to get away from that bitch, haven't you? Didn't you? Didn't you want to get away from that bitch sometimes?
You talked a little bit about the incident in March 2013, right?
Which one?
That was the one before you went to the Keith Richards
Yes.
documentary set? And you were present with Mr. Depp at Orange that day?
I was.
Didn't you do cocaine with Mr. Depp that afternoon?
Yes.
And you said Mr. Depp's already intoxicated
He was by the time I got there.
and he was fighting with your sister?
He wasn't doing much of anything. He was sat at the table. He was telling me about the fight that they had.
So
he was kind of
he'd been
ignoring.
fighting with your sister that day when you arrived.
That was my understanding.
And you said she had a puffy face.
Yes.
But y'all still did
And
cocaine.
despite all of that, you decided it was a good idea to do cocaine with Mr. Depp?
Ah,
I
yes.
hadn't yet connected the dots. I hadn't yet understood what that meant or what that would do.
That was a yes?
You did cocaine
Yes, you
after
took
that.
cocaine with Mr. Depp after
I
all
did.
that?
Yes, I
You
already
did
said that.
cocaine, bitch. Huh? It was still good. It was still all right to do some cocaine, huh?
You testified that you had suspicions that Mr. Depp was allegedly hitting your sister by some point in 2013, right?
Suspicions.
And notwithstanding that, in June 2013, you were actually joking with Mr. Depp about hitting your sister, right?
Regrettably over a text message, yes.
That you were encouraging him to hit her,
You was encouraging
Not
him to
literally
hit her.
Encouraging him to hit her.
but you were joking about it.
But it was a
Regrettably.
joke.
Yes. Again, Lex.
It was a joke.
I did not have an understanding fully of what that was. I never would have said
She need
that
her
now
ass
than
whooped
I know.
sometime. Hey, man.
But that was alleged. That was around the time.
She
that
need
you
her
allegedly
ass whooped
became aware that he
sometimes.
was- that
I
there
don't
were
know.
Injuries on your sister.
She
that
need her
caused you
ass
to have
whooped
suspicion.
sometimes.
I don't know if it was around the same time.
Turning to the staircase incident in March 2015, you testified that Mr. Depp allegedly hit you during that incident, right?
Yes.
But you aren't sure if that contact was even meant for you, right?
I honestly don't. I don't know what he was aiming for. My back was to him.
And you weren't injured during that incident, right?
No, I wasn't.
And you didn't seek medical attention?
No,
And you said Debbie Lloyd was there during all of that, correct?
she was.
And Mr. Depp's security, Travis McGivern, was there too?
Yes, he was.
Secure, all kind of
And
secure.
you saw your sister hit Mr. Depp on the stairs that day, right?
After he struck me, yes.
He struck you.
You said she landed one, right?
She landed one.
And then the next day, you found some damage in the adjoining penthouse.
Correct.
And we saw some pictures of what you saw that day, right?
Yes.
Did you see Johnny do?
You thought it was important to document that damage, right?
Thought it was important
Not
to document.
It was Kevin's job to kind of clean up the houses, take care of the houses. I took pictures just so he could be aware of what he would need to bring. I didn't know if he had tools
thought it
here
was
or
important
whatever.
to
I was just
document
preparing
that.
him for what he was going to have to fix.
But did you
But
see
you
him
didn't take
do
any
it?
pictures of your sister that day, right?
No, I didn't.
But you took pictures of the damage. But you didn't take pictures of the bitch.
Now, after March 2015,
wow.
you continued to have a close relationship with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes,
And
you
y'all was still
loved him.
bull.
of course.
And you were there for him if he needed you, right?
Of course.
I like how she doing
And
this.
in fact, just a couple of weeks after that,
I like how
incident,
she's
you were
doing
still acting
this.
as the marriage counselor, weren't you?
The lawyer.
At some point, sure.
And that fall, after the staircase incident, October 2015, you claim you had seen Mr. Depp hitting your sister. And then in October 2015, you were actually still trying to reconcile him and your sister when they were fighting, right?
You still trying to get it to
Yes,
work because
I
you know that
was
paper was
asked to
online.
support. I was just trying to help
Don't fuck up the paper,
what I thought they
bitch.
both wanted.
Come on, bitch, calm
I
down.
was just trying to support, or trying my
Bitch,
best
you got to
to
get
support them
along
the
with
way
this
that I thought I
motherfucker. This
could.
Jack Sparrow,
You
bitch.
still loved Mr. Depp at that point, right?
Of course you did.
I did.
Of course you
And
did.
you didn't think that he and
He's
your sister
fucking
were
Johnny
past
Depp.
the point of no return, right?
She want to
What
fuck
I
him
thought
too.
was irrelevant at that point. I really, those two were in love and they were working very hard. They wanted to be together, it seemed like, so I just helped as best as I could. I
I
don't know
was
how else
trying to
describe
help
it.
keep them together.
Your sister still wanted to be with Mr.
Trying to
Depp,
help her
right?
keep the
She loved
bag.
him.
We don't want her to lose the
And
bag.
you didn't think they were past the point of no return.
I don't know what you mean by that exactly.
Bitch, you know what she mean.
Let's take a look at.
Come on now, bitch.
Plaintiff's Exhibit 1283. It's not yet in evidence. We'll just show that to the witness. I've got this, if I might approach, Your Honor, I have this in redacted and unredacted.
Okay, you want to come forward?
Okay. This bitch is about to get picked apart. I feel it. I love the way the demeanor changes. I love the way they demeanor change when they start getting pressed with questions, with hard questions. I love the way they demeanor change when they get pressed with the hard question. See, motherfuckers should be the same when they trying to take a motherfucker down and when they getting pressed. The way they respond to the questions, the body language, all that shit needs to be the same. But see, you notice that when a bitch is getting, when the lawyer that's for her is pressing, is questioning her, it's a different vibe. And then when she start getting pressed by the negative lawyer, then it's a different vibration. When it gotta be the same. DC Bolden, what's up with it? DC Bolden, yeah. These motherfuckers, man, when they get pressed, man, they start squirming around in the seat, defensive, answering questions that the bitch ain't asked her yet, offering up extra information, saying little stupid, guilty shit. All that little guilty shit, like if you was in the streets and you was getting pressed by a real nigga about some shit, that's when you get the shit slapped out of you. When you're doing all that little squirming around, all that little bullshit, motherfuckers be doing, talking too much, offering up information, the shit I ain't said. Let's see how a bitch act. Let's see. I love this shit. This shit right here, man.
Ms. Enriquez, if I could just direct your attention, we can go to the third page, please.
Do I have control of this or no?
No, you do not. Sorry.
Hell no, bitch. You ain't got no control of nothing.
We can go back to the
Bitch, you
to the
answering
first page
questions,
if you'd like,
bitch.
Or, we can take a look at the unredacted
Let's
version.
go.
Too, but do you recognize these as text messages that you sent to Mr. Depp on October 2nd, 2015?
Hey, it's all good, DC Bowling. It's all good. You know what I'm
vaguely.
saying?
They're clearly my text messages, but
Y'all bless a nigga so you can have a
recognize
good
them.
lunch out
And
there.
if we can go to the third page, please, Tom.
Oh, that bitch put on her glasses.
And you'll see the second blue box.
Drug
on the bottom
addict put on
there.
some glasses,
You texted
squinting and
Mr. Depp
shit.
and you said, I love both of you so much and would fucking stay out of it if I thought this shit were past the point of no return. But that's not where you guys are right now. Did I read that right?
Yeah, bitch, your own
but
words.
that's not where you guys are at. Yes.
Your
So you
own
didn't
words,
think they were past the
bitch.
point of no return in October
Your
2015.
own words, bitch. Get the
At
likes
that
up.
point, clearly, I didn't.
You can take that down.
Oh,
My spirit wants to check a bitch. I just feel like checking a bitch, man. Like, when I see a bitch like that, I just want to check a bitch. I just
You
know.
wanted Ms. Heard to stay with Mr. Depp, even after you allegedly saw him hit her, right?
that's really oversimplifying something that's far from simple. Again, Amber was very much in love. So was Johnny. She's telling me that she wants something. Whether or not I agreed to it or not, whether or not I was okay with what was happening, it wasn't my place. If my sister said that she still wanted to be with Johnny and if I could help with that in any way, I was going to support her. I was going to be there for her to support that.
Yeah, you didn't want to contradict your sister, right?
Pardon?
You didn't want to contradict your sister.
I don't
Bitch,
know
you
if I
stuck? You don't
characterized
know
it
what that
way.
word mean, bitch?
Again, I was trying to support my sister the best.
Bitch, you don't know what
I could or
contradict
knew
mean?
how, or thought she wanted.
And you say you wanted to protect her, though, right?
At that point, I don't know if I would categorize it as that. I was just trying to support my sister.
You went to Coachella with your sister for her 30th birthday in 2016, right?
Yes.
We was up.
And you testified that you were aware,
We
I
was
believe,
up.
that she and Mr. Depp had fought the night before?
You could turn your microphone on, Ms. Bretterhoff.
Ooh, look at Amber titties. Amber's looking great. Got the sweater on, highlighting the titties.
Yes, I was aware that they had.
Got the hair going. Huh?
You didn't see any bruises.
Who's she looking at in the
was hurt at
jury?
Coachella that year, though, right?
Who is it?
wearing a lot of
It's some
makeup.
suckers in the
You didn't see any
jury.
marks on her?
Look at this bitch.
Not that I can recall.
Didn't notice any swelling, right?
To the best of my recollection, I don't.
And your sister didn't have a working phone on her that day, did she?
No, she didn't.
Hell no, she
you
ain't had
did.
no phone.
Yes, it did.
No contact,
And
the
you
bitch
wanted Mr.
hoeing.
Depp to know that
She out here
her
getting
phone
her
was
whole
working,
shit on.
right?
I believe I reached out to him for her. Yeah.
Look at that.
And you were encouraging him to reach out to her through you if he was trying to reach her, right?
I believe so at one point. Yes.
didn't
call
want
the
him to think that he was
sister
ignoring
to
her.
talk to his wife. This
sorry?
at
You didn't
Coachella
want him to
being a
think that
hoe.
He was ignoring her, right?
Sure.
It's up.
And you wanted them to
Look at this
reconcile.
bitch.
Amber really wanted him there, despite the fact that they had had a fight the night before.
a
It was very
mother-
complicated. It was very nuanced. You know, they fought, they got back together. They fought, they loved each other. They hated each other, they loved each other. I just remember.
Bitch,
her
you wish
wanting
you coulda
Johnny to come to
fucked him.
Coachella at some point.
Bitch, you wanted to
I
fucking
wasn't trying to
bitch.
reconcile them.
That
I was
bitch
just
wanted to
trying
fuck Johnny. Get the
help
lights
facilitate.
up. Look at that bitch.
And you did that even though
She looking
you were
great.
concerned about marks that you say you'd seen on her since at least 2013 and during the course of their relationship, right?
Looking great over
Again,
there.
That's really oversimplifying something. We all saw this.
Dangerous.
We all
Dangerous
thought that
bitch.
we would see Johnny on the other end of this. Because again, when he was sober, things were wonderful. When they weren't, when he wasn't sober, they were terrible, sure, but we all thought that he was just going to get better. We all wanted to just see the other side of that. So yes, sure, if you look at it simply, but it's not simple at all. I don't know how else to answer it.
And this was after you allegedly saw him hit her, right?
Yes,
And you knew that they had just had another fight, right?
yes,
You know who Jennifer Howell is, right, Ms. Enriquez?
I do.
She's the
Jesse
founder of the Market Museum
LD3,
nonprofit.
what's up with it?
She is.
And
You know that
worked there
bitch
for a time.
highlighting them titties, bro.
Around May
and the
2015,
hair.
you actually moved
It's
in
a
with
it's
Ms.
a it's a
Howell,
sucker
right?
in the jury going for this
2015.
bullshit.
2015?
Yes.
If I was in the jury, I'd be
And
hype. I'd be
you
like,
moved out
oh,
of
look
the
at this
penthouse At
bitch.
that point, you and your sister were fighting, right?
It was, yeah, it was around the
Bitch.
time that, you know, he had accused me of leaking stories, and that was the impetus of me leaving.
And you testified earlier, I think, that he had asked you to sign an NDA, right?
At some point,
And that was around the same time that he was concerned you were leaking stories about their wedding to the media.
I believe so.
You and Ms. Howell were close,
We were.
close enough that you lived with her for around a year,
I don't recall if it was that long.
and you confided in Ms. Howell, right?
About some things, yes. She was my friend.
You called her your chosen sister. Ms. Enriquez, you claim to have seen signs of injuries on your sister during the course of her relationship with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes.
But you never witnessed any incidents that resulted in visible injuries to your sister, right?
Other than the staircase incident? I witnessed that incident. What are you asking me exactly?
You never witnessed any incidents that resulted in signs of injury that you were concerned about over the course of their relationship?
Other than the staircase incident? I did witness that.
No, at no other time when you...
No, that was the only time that I saw him.
And you didn't see what caused any of the injuries you claim to have seen during the course of their relationship, right? Other than the staircase incident.
Yeah, staircase incident is the only one that I saw.
But you have seen your sister land a blow on Mr. Depp, right?
That was the time, yes, after he hit me.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
I have no redirect.
All right, is this witness subject to recall?
No, she may be,
Is subject to recall? No? Okay.
Ah,
all right.
it's
Ma'am,
over?
You are free to go, or you can stay in the courtroom. It's up to you, okay? Thank you.
Oh, man, it's over?
All right.
Damn.
our next witness, Your Honor, is another deposition designation.
Okay.
It's going to be,
How long is it?
this particular one is about 45 minutes.
Okay. All right, why don't we go ahead and, it's early, but why don't we go ahead and take our afternoon recess, though? That way we can get everything ready for you. So we'll just take our 15-minute break now, and then we'll come back and have that deposition, okay? So we'll see you in 15 minutes. Don't do any outside research, and don't talk to anybody.
Salute! I thought it was gonna be a little bit more up. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more up. Was that bitch trustworthy that just got off the stand? How you feel about that? Do you feel she was trustworthy or untrustworthy?
So if that's 45 minutes, and what do you have?
Trustworthy or untrustworthy? Give me a 1 if she was trustworthy.
Deposition?
Give me a 2 if the bitch
Okay,
is
there's no
untrustworthy.
Yeah, all the rest of them today are deposition.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't need any
We got
other items from that. Okay, that's fine. We'll come back at 3:05 then? Okay, all right, thank you.
depositions. They ain't as flavorful as the in-court get down. You know what I'm talking about? That deposition ain't the same flavor, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. That bitch is untrustworthy. That's how I felt. That bitch showed Johnny Depp how to use cocaine with a fucking tampon applicator that they put in their pussy. That I'm imagining how they do that, man. That's some man doing cocaine from the tampon applicator. I didn't even know that shit, man. I'm like, damn, the BossMackTopSoil is green and a motherfucker learning new shit all the time, man. I just seen bitches do the lines, man. I ain't never seen them do the tampon applicator. You know what I'm talking about? Blessings to everybody out there. Blessings to everybody out there tapped in, man. I'm just enjoying the afternoon, man. It's a beautiful day right now. Man, beautiful day, beautiful atmosphere outside. We are vibing, man. You know what, man? A nigga should take some calls, man. A nigga should take a couple calls or something, man. Where the phone at? Where the goddamn phone? Nigga should take some calls right now and see what's up. Oh, the phone about to die. Ain't that a bit? Don't you hate doing that, man? Letting the phone just be over there dying. Man. All right, y'all. Hey, like I was telling y'all earlier, man, y'all go check out Boogaloo, man, and the Hood Vlogs, man. And Boogaloo coming through. We doing a show tonight, man. We going to be going up tonight at about 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time live. Me and Boogaloo pulling up. Boogaloo ain't been on the live with me, man, yet. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to iron out the kinks in the live, get all the little mistakes out the way. You know, it's a process doing this shit right here. This is completely different from the other process of doing the shows. And, you know, niggas was doing the shows and recording them and then going back, mixing them down. This process is just so much more streamlined, beautiful. That's why a nigga just been blasting out, a nigga just been really trying to blast out the content, man, and just put out a whole lot of material, man, and just man, probably gonna try to get into some everyday type of shit, really, man. I'm just keep it a buck, man. We really gonna be in some everyday doing something, you know what I'm talking about? But anyway, man, yeah. It's going good. The trial is going good. Do you think Amber is losing? Do you think a bitch got a chance? Or do you think it's already a win for Johnny? Alan Davis, what's up with it? I appreciate it. Hey, Alan, man, I didn't even peep how you had came in and said Boogaloo was in the vlog thing, man. That nigga hit me up right after that, like, nigga, you didn't see me, nigga. Damn, man, that was a good look for Boogaloo, man. Boogaloo becoming the y'all listen, on everything. My nigga Boogaloo is he becoming the face of Bompton, man, the face of young Bompton. Boogaloo is really like the face of young Bompton, man. Like, for real though, man, my guy. Yeah, he gave out a lot of game too, man. And then to see the thing is in that hood vlog, Boogaloo give out a lot of essential game for young niggas to be really thinking about, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of common sense game. You know, Boogaloo is one of them niggas, man. Like, you know, I really appreciate that guy, man. Niggas from my section, man. It's, you know, I don't, you know, I'm not trying to be overly biased. You know, I try to keep it a buck because real niggas is real niggas wherever they at in the world. You know, I learned that a long time ago, man. Traveling, I was like, real niggas is real niggas all over the world. But, you know, a nigga, for my section, man, I gotta say, man, in my section where I came up at, it is a lot of niggas. It's a lot of great niggas from my section, man. Like individuals. It's a lot of great individuals from my section that I could really say is some great niggas out there in comparison to other niggas. And I'm not even really trying to put extras on it. This is just based off of real observation and dealing with niggas, moving around, chopping it up with niggas, seeing niggas, vibing with niggas. My niggas is some great niggas. It's like, you know, like the ratio to sucker niggas to great niggas is extraordinarily high. And that had to be like a top-down ripple effect type of thing. I don't know, man. It's just a ripple effect. So, you know, shout out to my niggas out there, man. Shout out to my nigga Mad. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homie Bat out there in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Shout out to Free G Weeder. This nigga right here behind me. Free G Weeder. You know what I'm saying? Big Zoe. Shout out to Big Zoe, my people's LG. You understand me? It's fine individuals out there, man, from the section, man. DR, my nigga DR, Rody Tootie. God bless that nigga, man. Shout out to these niggas, man. Some amazing niggas from my section. Taboo, Slick Nella, you understand me? Man, my nigga, man, Big Fave, Don Tavius. Tavius that was on the show the other day with me on the when we was talking about the Heart Part 5 with Kendrick. A nigga Tavius, man, some great niggas, man. Vicasso, you know what I'm talking about? Lil Zo, man, there's some great niggas from this section, man. West Side Boogie, y'all go tap into West Side Boogie. We gotta have him back on this motherfucker, man. You know, I got to get this live shit right, bro. So, you know, when I get these, if I have a star on here, can y'all imagine that? You know, I nigga have a star, have a nigga that's a celebrity on here and fuck up and be fucking up on the stream. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm trying to minimize the fuck ups, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm real happy. I'm real happy the way shit is. All right, let me see. Let's see what's bracking out there, man, right now, man. You know, while we interluding, let's see what's bracking out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me check Twitter. Yeah, man. Everything bad for Amber, man. They just going in on Amber on Twitter. You feel me? They going in on Amber. Amber Heard is a psychopath. Let's see. That's trending. Amber Heard is a psychopath. Stop running away from me, you monster. An Amber quote. Let's look at that. Let me pull that up on that. Let's look at let's look at Twitter. Look at that. Look at that. Stop running away from me, you monster. Said no domestic abuse, no domestic abuse victim ever. I'm missing Camille, man. I kind of wanted to see Camille today, man. I feel disappointed. I'm not seeing Camille today, man.
Leading.
Sustain.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Objection, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. Let's look at some Camille.
Title could go into what Ms. Vasquez asked.
The objection is leading. I'll sustain the objection.
Okay,
I'll sustain the objection as to hearsay.
okay.
Look at Camille.
I'm,
Camille. Look at Camille.
what, if any, you were asked if you had, it was
Look at
suggested
Camille.
that you had not produced this in discovery. Is that true or false?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Your Honor, she absolutely did.
Don't you miss Camille?
It's leading question, though. I'll sustain the objection as to leading.
Eyes on
Objection, Your Honor.
12-17.
Leading.
Sustain as to leading.
Objection,
But
Your Honor.
nah,
This is
what's
outside the
up?
scope of cross-examination.
It's prior consistent statements.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
It's observations. from
Nah, what's up,
12-17,
Joe
7
Blass?
days.
Sustain the objection.
Objection, Your Honor.
You know what? I don't know if you know what? I should. You know what? I'm going to keep it a buck. 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 I'm going to keep it a buck, man. I know some critical factors out here in these streets. You know what I mean? I know some critical factors. I do believe I could get Dog to come through here. I do believe I can get it done. I do believe I could get it done. But, you know, it has to be done in a certain kind of way, though. Like, it has to be done in a certain kind of way. Because, you know, Dog is like a king out here, man, for real. Snoop Dogg is like he like the king of Long Beach, for real. Like, he really like Snoop Dogg is like the king of Long Beach. But I think I could get it done. I think I could have Snoop Dogg. I think it's possible for me to have any nigga in here. I think it's possible to have any nigga in here sitting on the couch over there chopping it up with the BossMackTopSoil. I fully believe it. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't. That's something to think about. I just ain't pushed that issue yet. I'm thinking about reaching out. I'm thinking about reaching out to one of his close homies, though, and have a couple of them niggas on. It's some niggas around him. It's some niggas around Snoop that I feel have a significant voice out here in these streets right now, and niggas don't really. I think some of these niggas need to be heard from. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like a nigga like Boogaloo, like, you know, like a nigga like Boogaloo. That's the kind of nigga you supposed to hear from. You supposed to hear from niggas like that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas like that. Niggas like Boogaloo and them is supposed to have like a platform where they get to, you know, to where their ideas could be out there. So, you know what I'm saying? Because the trenches respect these niggas on like a high level. And niggas need that, their voices need to be out there to influence. So there's some niggas around Snoop that's like that too, that I feel don't get enough shine. So I'm a tap into some of those niggas here soon and see if we can get some dialogue going, and then I feel like that's gonna lead up to Dog coming through. Cause I really, I wanna when if I have a conversation with Dog, I wanna have a certain kind of conversation with Dog. You know what I'm saying? Because, you see a nigga on Drink Champs and some of these other interviews, and he in a certain state of mind. I believe that, as the BossMackTopSoil, I'ma engage the conversation in a different dimension. We're gonna talk about different people, different scenarios and shit that happen probably more unknown situations brought to light, more game out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going over that. You feel me? But yeah, I appreciate you bringing up that as a thought. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, Dog is a pivotal part to the part of the ascension of the brand. When he rocked the bitch relax on GGN, that gave us a lot. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I need to talk to Lucario, man. I ain't talked to that nigga. I ain't talked to Lucario in a long ass motherfucking time personally. Like on some like when I went down there and we did this with Lucario, man, them niggas, man, they had a nice little situation set up. You know what I'm saying? Downtown LA in the trenches. They was in the trenches. Them niggas was set up right around the corner from where I be doing a lot of shit. I ain't even tell them that shit though. Like, I ain't even tell them that I be like around the corner from where we was set up at doing this shit. But that was a good look, man. And shout out to Lucario and them, man. I like the niggas' work ethic, man. Him and Miles in the gang, man. I fuck with them niggas, man. The young niggas, man. Them young niggas coming up, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no telling, man. Them niggas, man. For real, for real. Niggas, I just like fucking with the young niggas, man. You gotta fuck with the young niggas, man, because, you know what I'm saying? Niggas is the future, you know what I'm saying? You gotta fuck with the young niggas, man, and make sure the young niggas is right. You feel me? Like,
All right, are we ready for the jury?
we ready to
All right,
get back down. We ready to get back down. Hold on, let me see where we at. Showtime. Showtime, man. I be thinking about what we be doing over here as the BossMackTopSoil. I be thinking about what I be doing. I know this right here don't seem like it have nothing to do with the game. Like BossMack is watching the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp trial and shit, and doing commentary and shit, but this is sucker. This is the consequences of sucker shit, and that's why I'm here talking about it.
Mars, M-A-R-S.
The consequences of sucker shit. I love Johnny Depp. I love him. I love Jack Sparrow.
Please state your full name for the record.
Elizabeth Ray Mars.
Between the time that you lived in New York, so let's say 2007, 2008 through 2015, 16, how many times would you estimate that you saw Ms. Heard?
I don't remember.
More than 4 times?
No.
In 2015 and 16, do you recall how close you and Ms. Pennington were as friends?
Yeah, we were pretty close. Pretty close.
It's a trip how these
In your
bitches be
previous testimony,
friends and then it should be falling out.
Mars, that you testified that at least in July of 2016, you would communicate with Ms. Pennington weekly.
I don't remember. Maybe at that time, perhaps we were communicating. Like I said, there were moments where we were communicating weekly or daily.
Would you agree with me that you would remember something as significant as one of your girlfriends telling you, somebody you've known since Texas, when you were young girls, you would remember if Ms. Heard told you that her husband or fiance or boyfriend was beating her? You would remember that, correct? And your testimony is that you only lived at the Eastern Columbia building in February of 2016 for 2 weeks?
It was around 2 weeks. I don't know the specific amount of time, but it was definitely a little over 2 weeks, less than a month. And yes.
And when you stayed at the Eastern Columbia building, did you stay in one of the penthouses?
Yes.
Okay. And did you understand that that penthouse was owned by Mr. Depp at the time?
I assumed it was, yes.
And for what purpose did you go to the Eastern Columbia building on May 21st, 2016?
To assist Raquel in getting ready for a bead show that she was going to be doing the following day.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp be violent towards anyone?
I experienced him that night as like I was scared of him. So that's all I can say from the moment that the one interaction I had with him that night, it was frightening to me. His behavior was frightening
What?
to me.
No, she wouldn't wear makeup?
I mean,
What?
I don't think of her as someone who wears a lot of makeup. No.
Get the
Yeah, you've
lights
known her a long
up.
time.
Right.
She's never been somebody that wears a lot of makeup, correct?
Exactly. Unless she's going to something that she needs to put makeup on for.
Right. But other than that, she's usually barefaced and beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's your recollection, your best recollection.
Ooh,
that Miss Pennington
dangerous
was
bitch sitting over there. Looking
And
like
left
Marilyn
before-
Monroe got the
before Mr. Depp arrived. Is that correct?
titty sweater on.
So you hear some type of commotion. You don't know where it's coming from, correct?
It sounds like, yeah, it sounds like it's coming from,
Drinking that pink.
we hear commotion.
Bitch, what
and
you
it feels like it's
drinking?
getting closer and closer and closer.
What you drinking, bitch?
Did it sound like
Drinking that pink every day in the
voices, or
courtroom.
did it sound like destruction?
It sounded like voices and destruction
That the door was abruptly opened, correct?
abruptly open.
That's a
Okay,
bitch
so
that
you
fuck
hear
with
the commotion. It
Pro-Vigil.
feels like it's getting closer.
That bitch
and
fuck with
closer. What
Pro-Vigil.
happened next?
Y'all Google that Pro-Vigil.
Then, soon after the door slammed open and Johnny came like bursting through the door.
Who opened the door?
Oh, there go Camille right
Johnny.
there.
Was Johnny alone?
There was the two men behind him,
Okay.
following him.
So Johnny opens the door. He's got his two, what we'll assume are his bodyguards, with him. What happens next?
So it all happened very fast. The door kind of burst open and he came in very, just from my perspective, really under the influence of something, drugs or alcohol, because he was very sloppily, he looked wasted. He was holding a very large bottle of wine, looked like some sort of like a Magnum bottle of wine, which was kind of spilling all over the place. And as he opened the door,
You Jack Sparrow.
I remember what he mumbled was, "Get your bitch out of here."
Right.
And I just remember it all happened very fast.
Yeah.
The door slamming, him saying, "Get your bitch out of here," the wine.
Yes.
That
I agree
whole,
with that.
his whole
Why
being
can't I
really
say
touched
that?
me. It almost felt like he was coming towards me. from
Why
my
can't I
perspective.
come in the
Whether he
room
was coming towards me or not.
with a
scared
bottle
me.
and say, "Get your
And I
bitch
just
out of here"?
Ran out past him.
You
Get-
said
get
Mr.
your
Depp
bitch outta
appeared
here.
To be either drunk or high. Is that correct?
I can't say that.
Seemed to be intoxicated.
Okay. Is that different than drunk?
No, yeah, I guess. Yeah, he definitely seemed like he was under the influence of something.
And on May 21st, 2016, how was Mr. Depp's demeanor different?
He was, it was much more sloppy and all over the place and frightening and combative, you know, felt very angry. He felt angry. And yeah.
And when you say combative, what was combative specifically about his demeanor?
Just the way he burst through the room, just very forcefully, and rushed in very quickly to the point that it made me want to get past him and run out very quickly. Like, it wasn't an invite. It was very, yeah, it was intense.
So if I bust in a room,
So Mr. Depp comes through
I'm
the door,
combative. If I just
Penthouse
bust
five.
in the room, I'm combative.
and you
How is that
hear him
combative?
say something to the effect of, "Get your bitch out of here," correct? And then you ran out immediately thereafter?
Yes.
Did you see Mr. Depp spill any wine in Penthouse 5 before you ran out?
Seven of gentlemen, I don't know, man. Johnny might take down Camille. I would consider it.
I don't remember.
I would consider it. A bitch went out and got me 40, went out and won 50 mil M's for me.
So what I remember was it was flailing, and there was definitely wine that was coming out.
Would you say that being sloppy is different than being combative?
I was thinking that too, Seven of gentlemen, when I was just looking
yeah, I would say sloppy and combative are
Camille
two
sitting
different
next to him like that.
And it's your testimony that Mr. Depp was on May 21st, 2016, both combative and sloppy, correct?
Yeah, I would describe it that there was a little bit of both. Yes, but combative and sloppy.
Was he more sloppy than he was combative?
It felt more combative than sloppy.
And just to clarify, the only thing that was combative was the words he was speaking?
No, it was completely the way he entered into the room, rushed in, his energy, the way it felt like he was coming after me, like he almost felt like, from where I was standing, it felt like he was charging towards me, and I was scared, and it was, it felt, yeah, combative. It felt, I'm trying to look for another word that can describe what I felt, but it was, you know, it was scary. My heart was beating really fast, very quickly, and I was freaked out.
Okay, so after you exchanged some text messages with Miss Pennington, you came out of your hiding spot and then went to Miss Pennington and Mr. Drew's penthouse. Is that correct?
Correct.
So who was in Penthouse 1 when you got out of the hiding spot and came to Penthouse 1?
I mean, it was Josh, Raquel, Amber, and I were the people that were at some point in there during that time.
Okay. Do you remember the first time you saw Miss Heard after this incident?
I remember seeing her after that incident, and it was in that apartment.
In Penthouse 1?
Correct.
So the first time you saw Miss Heard after this incident on May 21st, 2016 was in Penthouse 1. What do you recall seeing, the first thing you saw when you saw Miss Heard?
I just remember she looked really upset and disheveled, and her hair was a mess, and she had a swollen face. Red. She had a red, swollen face.
Okay. Had you ever seen Miss Heard cry before May 21st, 2016?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
Okay. What side of her face was swollen?
I think it was her right side of her face.
Do you have an independent recollection that it was the right side of her face that was swollen?
I'm taking myself back there and trying to remember, like, where I was standing versus, you know what I mean? I think it was, yeah, I think looking at her, it was on my left and her right side.
Okay. So let's talk about her hair seemed disheveled. Is that what you said? Her hair was disheveled? Mm-hmm. Was she crying?
Yeah, there was definitely tears.
Was she animated?
Yeah, she was visibly really upset.
Okay. So visibly very upset means what? She was crying? Mm-hmm. Okay. And what else?
Tears, sadness, felt like confusion, felt like those were the main things.
Would you describe, what did Mr. Drew say, if anything?
I don't remember him saying what he said. I think everybody was just shaken up.
So soon after you went into Penthouse 1, you remember some police officers coming to
I
Penthouse 1.
remember, yeah, I remember there was police officers in the hallway.
Was Miss Heard icing her face after the incident, but before the police arrived?
I think so.
Who gave her the ice?
I don't remember.
Is this bitch trustworthy? Is this
You were in
bitch
Penthouse 1
trustworthy?
when the police came. How do you know?
Put
that
up a
they
1 if this
came?
bitch is trustworthy. Put up a 2 if this bitch is untrustworthy.
Because they said the police are here. So I
Who
don't,
said that?
I don't remember. Again, this is a very long time ago, so specific details are going to be really hard for me to remember. I just knowing that police were there in the hallway, 2 of them.
And in February, when you lived at the penthouse for a few weeks, you didn't hear or see any abuse by Mr. Depp towards Miss Heard, correct?
Correct.
And did you go to Amber and Johnny's
Yeah, that bitch is
penthouse
untrustworthy.
thereafter, or where did you go next?
So I just remember at some point ending up, yes, at some point we were in their penthouse afterwards.
Any bitch that's friends with Amber is an untrustworthy bitch because they all untrustworthy bitches.
It was after the first 2 police officers came.
Okay. Do you remember glass on the floor?
At this point in time, I don't remember what I saw. I don't remember if it was cleaned up by the time I got there or if there was glass on the floor when I walked in.
Do you recall seeing wine spilled?
I recall seeing wine spilled in the hallway, like a lot of wine spilled in the hallway.
When do you recall seeing the wine spilled in the hallway?
At some point in the night, maybe after, before. I recall, I mean, I don't remember specifically, but I remember seeing wine spilled in the hallway. I remember that being one of the things that I saw that was part of the destruction of whatever happened.
Okay, so the police come, and you stayed in Penthouse 1.
Correct.
Okay. It was after the police officers left.
Bitches is living in penthouses on Johnny.
3, correct, where Amber and Johnny lived?
Correct.
Recall seeing wine spilled in the hallway?
I remember seeing wine spilled in the hallway, yeah.
Okay. And you saw the wine after the police officers came, correct?
I think so.
Did Miss Pennington take any photographs of the scene?
I remember Raquel taking photographs of Amber's face.
Okay. And now going to your description of Miss Heard's face, you said it was the right side of her face. You said it was, what, swollen and red?
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Correct. Yeah, it was swollen and red.
Was any part of her face more swollen than others?
It was around her eye.
Had bruising developed already?
No, it was red and swollen.
Okay. So you did not see any bruising on Miss Heard's face the evening of May 21st, 2016, correct?
I saw a red, swollen, puffy face.
Okay. And just on the right side, correct?
Correct.
But wasn't it your testimony, Ms. Mars, that you were inside Penthouse 1 when the first police officers came to the scene?
Correct.
And how much time do you estimate they spent in the penthouses?
I don't remember. The second group of officers, there was 2 sets of officers that came. The second set of officers that I actually was in the apartment in PH3, I think it was.
Did you hear about
And PH3.
Miss Heard, Mr. Drew, or Miss Pennington
These bitches just-
cleaning anything that Mr. Depp allegedly destroyed?
I don't remember, but I do remember that I'm pretty sure that Josh was helping to clean up
Camille right there next to Johnny. Yeah, he might be hidden. He might be.
Before you entered into where?
Into the main apartment.
So you recall Josh, Drew, cleaning
If they
up
win, yeah.
before
If they
you
win
entered
this,
Penthouse
I can see it.
3.
I would fuck with her.
What was he cleaning up?
I would.
I just remember by the time that I got
Bitch, I love you.
into that apartment,
I love you, bitch.
cleaned up the glass and the wine that was on the floor.
Recall who told you that Penthouse 3 had been cleaned up?
No one specifically told me. It was, what I was expressing is that it was cleaned up before I got there for the most part. I just remember that for the most part. From what I don't remember.
To clarify, Ms. Mars, when you came into Penthouse 3, after the police officers, the first set of police officers came and left, you did not see silver candlesticks, candelabra sticks, broken on the floor, baskets of fruit that had been on the kitchen island, fruit everywhere, baskets on the ground, containers holding the spoons and forks, kitchen utensils spilled, a lamp, a little statue thing, broken in Penthouse 5. I'm sorry, Penthouse 3.
Now that I'm reading this, I'm sort of remembering that there was like some stuff that had like something that had been broken, like a little like the statue thing kind of sounds familiar to me now that I'm reading this, but again, I don't remember when I walked in if I don't remember this being on the floor. Okay. I don't remember seeing.
Okay, so you don't remember seeing it?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it. I don't remember, but again, as I'm reading this statue, when I see the statue, there's something that's like, oh, maybe, yeah, I feel like I remember there was some things that were broken, but I don't specifically remember what they were.
You did not witness
I
firsthand
didn't
what?
Firsthand anything. I didn't witness firsthand.
I didn't witness nothing.
Using Amber.
I just heard what Amber told me.
Testifying
And that's my
that
friend.
Johnny charged at you and then you were scared.
He charged towards me, and I was scared. I ran past him.
You didn't run past him because he told everyone in that penthouse to get out of his penthouse?
I ran past him because he ran into the unit.
I can't come into my penthouse. I can't come into my own shit and say, y'all motherfuckers get the fuck out. I don't know none of y'all motherfuckers. Get the fuck out of my house. I can't do that.
And saying, get your bitch out of here, and swaying a
Get your bitch out of here.
Wine. I'm sure.
I can't do
I
that.
don't know what anyone do. I can't say what anyone do, but
I can't come in the room. Get the lights up. Get the lights up.
Heard's face, you recall the marks.
I can't tell a bitch to get, I can't kick motherfuckers out of my shit.
the right side of her face.
Do you feel
I can't kick motherfuckers out of my shit. What's going on here?
ever done Miss Heard's makeup?
Is this America?
You testified earlier today that
I can't come in the room and say, all y'all bitches get the fuck out. I can't do that. Is this my shit?
Correct.
Is it possible in some of those times that she was wearing the type of makeup we ladies sometimes use to not appear as though we're wearing makeup?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell whether or not she was wearing basic concealer or foundation.
Correct.
Talk to me about the loud noises. What did you hear?
Yeah, just screaming, yelling, doors slamming, commotion.
Could you tell whether the screaming and the yelling was a male voice or a female voice?
From what I can remember, male.
And could you tell where the screaming and the yelling was coming from?
It felt like it was started farther down the hallway, and then it was coming like closer. So essentially, I mean, I don't know, but it could have been the hallway.
And so after you start hearing the screaming and the yelling and the door slamming and the commotion, you testify that Mr. Drew got up and went to the door?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
What did Mr. Drew do?
He was kind of pacing by the door and looking through the peephole.
And what happened next?
And then the door like burst open, and Johnny came charging in.
And said, get the fuck out of my shit.
Screamed, again, holding the Magnum-sized bottle of wine, you know, flailing it around, looked intoxicated, kind of stumbling, and screamed, "Get your bitch out of here," as he
I can't
ran
say that.
in my direction.
I can't
And
say that. I can't come
scared.
into my
It was
shit and say
it was
that.
very frightening and you know, just scary and
Bitch,
unexpected.
I didn't
And so I
touch
just
you.
Darted out past him and
Get
ran
out.
towards the pool.
I don't
and
know
area
you,
and
bitch.
hid there.
Y'all get the fuck out, fucking drug addict bitches. You and your
Prior
shitty
to the night
friends.
of May 21, 2016, had
Look at Camille.
a man ever charged at you holding a Magnum bottle of wine, screaming profanities?
Objection.
And what was your reaction to this event when it happened on May 21, 2016?
Fear.
Of what? Of what? Of what?
Besides the screaming.
Or was it
and the
disappointment
door
because you had to get the
slamming
fuck out?
and the wine waving, do you recall anything else about Mr. Depp's actions that evening? During that moment, I guess I should say.
He was just drunk. He was just drunk. He was acting like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Erratic. I would describe it as erratic behavior.
He was acting like Jack Sparrow. And he hurt my feelings because he
Was
said I had to
anyone
get the
else with
fuck
Mr. Depp
out.
when he charged
And I
you
couldn't
to
stay.
House 5?
Behind him were two men.
What about Ms. Heard?
No,
What about Ms. Pennington?
no.
So you testified that after Mr. Depp burst into the apartment and started charging towards you, that you darted out and hid in, I believe it's a community
what?
exercise area, is that correct?
Yeah, I darted out and went up the stairs and hid somewhere over by there
Why didn't you leave,
hide?
bitch?
because I was scared.
Sorry.
Scared of
Why did you
what,
hide?
bitch?
Because I was scared.
Of what,
What were you
bitch?
scared of?
What you
I just
scared
didn't know what
of?
he would do.
Just saying, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out the
I
house.
didn't know what he would do.
Nothing.
And
Get the
he
bitch.
there
Get
too?
bitch. Get out.
What were you thinking when you were hiding in the communal exercise area?
Bitch, what are you hiding in for? Bitch, get out. You're trying to stay in the house at this point.
That
Bitch,
I
you're
was
trying to stay in the house.
being scared and not wanting to leave that area until like I was clear that I wasn't going to be attacked.
You didn't get attacked at first, bitch.
Yes.
And what prompted you to leave the area?
A text with Raquel, just telling her to come to her and Josh's apartment.
And did you do as Ms. Pennington said and go to her and Josh's apartment?
Yes.
Sitting here today, do you remember what you were thinking as you were sort of coming out of your hiding spot?
Don't
and
kill
walking
me.
towards
I hope you don't
the
find me
house
and
again?
kill me.
I think the whole thing was just bizarre, like really frightening and bizarre to me. I don't specifically remember what I was thinking other than like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened, you know?
Y'all in the motherfucker house, and
And-
y'all got to get the fuck out. What the fuck you mean? What happened?
Maybe I was thinking that. I don't remember specifically.
And when you say, is he gone, who's the he you're referring to there?
Johnny.
When you got to Ms. Pennington's and Mr. Drew's penthouse, who'd you see? Who was there?
I don't remember who was specifically there when I first walked in, but throughout the time being in there in that moment, definitely Amber, Raquel, and Josh. And maybe like just by peeping into the hallway, one of the police officers.
Ain't nothing like coming in your shit, and it's your bitch in there who you already mad at your bitch.
When you saw Ms.
And there's a
Heard
whole bunch of
after
other
you came back
extra
out from your hiding
motherfuckers.
spot,
Bitch, get
and
these
you're in
motherfuckers out of
Mr.
here.
Drew's and Ms. Pennington's apartment, how did she look?
She looked frazzled and just completely disheveled. Her hair was all over the place. She had a swollen face, looked like she had been crying, and yeah.
Over there
Do you
looking
think
like
the swollen
the
face was a result
victim.
of her having been crying?
She got on her victim
What do you think
clothes
was the
today.
Looked
I'm
like
a
she'd been,
victim.
like, hit in some way. Like it was
Feel
definitely
sorry for
not
me.
from crying, and she had markings on her face.
I'm just a pretty white
Were the
bitch,
marks
you know,
that
I
you
ain't
saw
did
on Ms. Heard's
nothing.
face after you came down
That's Jack
from
Sparrow
the
over there, you know, he's
present
drunk,
when you had been
using
hanging out with her
cocaine,
earlier?
whooping my ass.
You testified earlier today that you witnessed some, I believe it was Miss Pennington or Mr. Drew, take some photos of Ms. Heard's face. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I'd like to mark what will be Mars Exhibit 13. Ms. Mars, as the court reporter hands you Exhibit 13, I'll represent to you that these were some photos taken on the night of May 21st, 2016. So if you turn to the second photo in the set, do you recognize the person in this photograph?
Yes.
Who is it?
Amber.
And do you see any marks on her face in this photograph?
Yes.
And do these marks look like the marks that you saw in person on her face on the evening of March 21, 2016?
Yes.
And just to clarify, these marks were not on her face when you saw Ms. Heard earlier that same afternoon and were helping Ms. Pennington make beads.
Correct.
There are other photos in this set. Why don't we turn back to the first one? Some broken frames on a bed. Do you know what this picture is of?
Yeah, I mean, this is Amber and Johnny's bed, and there's photographs on it.
So I take it that you've seen Amber and Johnny's bedroom before.
Yes.
Do you recall whether you went into Mr. Depp's and Ms. Heard's bedroom that night?
No.
No, you don't recall, or no, you didn't?
No, I don't recall.
The next photo in the set is the picture of Ms. Heard. Just after that, there's a photo, you're with me, of what appears to be a hallway. Are you with me?
Yes.
Do you recognize what this is an image of?
Yes.
What is it an image of?
It's the hallway between all the penthouse apartments.
So you've been on this hallway many times.
Yes.
Do you see the sort of red staining on the right-hand corner of the page?
Yes.
Do you recall seeing that red staining the night of May 21, 2016?
Yes.
And what was it?
It was wine.
So you saw that staining on the night of May 21, 2016.
Yes.
Do you recall whether it was there when you arrived in the afternoon?
I don't remember seeing it, no.
So when was the first time you remember seeing it?
I think when I came out of my hiding spot and came downstairs back into Raquel and Josh's apartment.
But you didn't see the wine get spilled.
Not this, no.
You saw other wine get spilled?
I saw, yeah, as he was, and when he came in the apartment, when he was flailing the wine.
And the he there is?
Johnny.
Then the last photo in this set appears to be of some picture frames hanging on a wall. Do you see that?
Yes, I think it's in Amber and Johnny's apartment, I think. But again, I don't remember if it's in her studio. I don't know.
Do you recall seeing this photo in one of the penthouses before?
Yes.
And when you
That's like
saw
a
it,
fresh
was it broken?
No.
Nothing like a
And
good
what, if
piss
anything,
right
do you
there.
remember about Miss Pennington's state?
Also, distraught.
Super facts.
Upset.
You'd been friends with Miss Pennington for many years at that point, correct?
Correct.
Had you ever seen her similarly distraught?
Not similarly, but seen her sad.
But have you ever seen her have the same reaction that she had that evening?
No.
So you also testify that you saw Mr. Drew in his and Miss Pennington's penthouse. What, if anything, do you remember about Mr. Drew's state?
I just remember him being just a grounding energy, just trying to be supportive to Amber and to Raquel, and just really trying to be like the man in the situation that was gonna like really be grounded amongst like women that were sort of like frightened.
Damian Brennan, I agree.
A little more frantic.
I
He was
agree
very
with you.
grounded and very like clear and
Salute for tapping
really,
in.
like feeling safe with him. Like he was, it was like protection.
You testified earlier today that, quote, there are some things that I really remember and some things that are a little shady, end quote. Which bucket do the marks that you saw on Miss Heard's face on the evening of May 21, 2016 fall into? The things that were a little shady, or the things that you really remember?
That I really remember.
Oh my God.
All right. Your next witness?
Witness, Your Honor, is Melanie Iglesias, and that is also by video, and I will say that that begins with Ms. Vasquez questioning first, and then,
Okay.
then I come back.
All right. And can you spell that last name just for the court
It's
order?
Inglessis.
Thank you.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Melanie Iglesias.
And Ms. Iglesias, what
Oops,
is your
it's me
occupation?
first.
I'm a makeup artist.
And
Thank
you,
you.
in fact, are a professional makeup artist, correct?
Correct.
When did you first meet Amber Heard?
April 2015.
And what was the occasion?
Tribeca Film Festival in New York.
Oh, they done switched up and
Were
shit.
you providing makeup services for her on that occasion?
Correct.
Okay. And did you become friends with Amber Heard after that?
I did.
Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit number 7. Do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes. I recall seeing this on the kitchen of the penthouse. When you enter, they have a bar kitchenette to the left, and
Is this a Russian bitch?
yes.
But when you came to the penthouse after Amber had texted you, whether it was that night or the next day, you saw this in the kitchen. Is that correct? Painted?
Lack of foundation.
And so you do recall being there that evening?
I do recall being there. You know, my only concern with all of this is that was it the day before or during another incident. But it says, if my text said I was there the night before, then I was there the night before.
Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you to look at what has been marked as deposition exhibit number 9. Do you recognize?
Man, they just really showing this bed chipped off right here. Like, it's a big deal.
Well, it's a bed. It looks like, I mean, it's a very tight picture of the bed, but it's a bed.
They keep man, that ain't no big deal like that, how she approached that bitch.
December
With the,
15 with the broken part of the bed?
Upstairs, yes.
Okay. And when you say upstairs, what do you mean?
Well, her bed, the bedroom was upstairs.
And the downstairs had the kitchen with the writing. Do you remember where the other property that you saw was? Was that downstairs or upstairs? The property that was damaged. Was that upstairs or downstairs?
Downstairs.
All right, and just so I'm clear, you recall damage to the bed, is that correct?
And asked and answered.
On December 16, 2015, did you return to Amber Heard's penthouse?
Yes.
And why did you come to Amber Heard's penthouse on December 16?
It was the James Corden show. She had an appearance, so I came back to work.
And when you arrived at the penthouse on December 16, please describe for me what you observed about Amber Heard's face and any injuries.
When I came to the penthouse on December 16 to do Amber's makeup, she had injuries. She had two light, like, I don't know how, I don't know, I mean, I'm not a medical expert, I don't know how I would describe them, but it could have looked like somebody had headbutted her lightly, so she had a discoloration here, under both eyes, and on the bridge of the nose, and she had what I would call a split lip or something on the lip, like a gash or a split lip.
okay.
Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you to look at what has been marked as exhibit number 11. Do you recognize this photo as being Amber Heard's head?
Yes.
Okay. And could you please describe for me what this photo is showing?
It's showing a chunk of missing hair.
And what, if anything, did you observe on December 16 about Amber Heard missing a chunk of hair?
I remember this because she showed it to us, and I looked at it.
Okay. And can you describe what is depicted right along her scalp there?
I don't know.
Do you recall that there was some bruising along the scalp and some pus, for lack of a better word?
I don't recall.
Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been marked as exhibit number 14. Do you recognize the person in this photo?
Yes,
And who is that?
this is Amber Heard.
Okay. And were these, you just described what you saw on the 16th with respect to Amber Heard's injuries. Does this accurately depict what you saw on Amber Heard on December 16, 2015?
Yes,
Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been marked as Exhibit 16. Again, do you recognize the person in this photo?
yes,
And who is that?
Amber Heard.
Okay. And does this picture reflect the injuries that you saw on Amber Heard on December 16, 2015?
Yes,
Okay. And then I'm going to ask you to take a look at one more of those, and that is Exhibit 17. And I'm going to ask again, Ms. Iglesias, do you recognize the person in this picture? And maybe to try to move it along, is it Amber Heard?
yes,
Okay. And does this reflect what you saw as well on December 16, 2015?
I mean, that's
It's all good, people.
with very different light. But
It's
yes.
all good.
Do you also recall there being an injury to Amber Heard's lip?
Correct.
And Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you to take a look at exhibit number 19. And do you recognize the person in this photograph as Amber Heard?
Yes,
And does this picture accurately reflect what you saw on Amber Heard on December 16, 2015?
yes.
Ms. Iglesias, could you please describe what you did by way of makeup to prepare Amber Heard for the James Corden show on December 16, 2015?
Yes, we covered, you know, I just did makeup, but just a little heavier where it needed. So we covered, you know, the discoloration, the bruises with a little slightly heavier concealer, one that has a little more of a peach undertone, which I would normally don't use on Amber, but peach do cancel blue. So I did that under the eyes, and although Amber always
I like this makeup
has a red
game.
lip, is one of the signature look. I remember clearly talking that we had no other option that night but then to use a red blood, like a really red lipstick.
Yeah, she would have
You know, make sure we
intense
cover up
dark bruises, bro. I'm already knowing.
And were you able to cover all of the injuries with the makeup that you applied and as you just described?
Now she might have got slapped by one of her homegirls though.
Ms. Iglesias, if you could look at what
You
has
feel
been
me?
marked as exhibit number 22, do you recognize?
I could see them
Amber Heard
doing
in
that.
picture?
I could see them doing that. Slap me a couple
Yes.
times and then I'm gonna just let's take some
And
pictures.
Is this the picture of her? Is this a picture of her that evening, December 16, 2015, on the James Corden show?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you observe on the difference in Amber Heard's demeanor before the show and then on the show?
That she had the ability to, you know, turn it on. She
That bitch is a star. That bitch is a hell of a. She could present whatever you want to see. Yeah.
And prior to Amber going on the show and while you were working with her on her makeup, how would you describe Amber's mood and demeanor?
angry, sad, a little erratic. I think through waves of emotions, you know.
Do you recall someone named Ms. McMillan having any role in helping to prepare Amber Heard for that James Corden show that night, December 16th?
Amber is
Yes.
trending hard right
do you
now,
recall?
bro.
Samantha was a stylist. Samantha was there the day of the James Corden show, as she was always there to get her ready before an appearance or show.
And did Samantha work on Amber before or after you were applying the makeup?
I don't know if she worked on Amber, but when I entered the Penthouse 5, Samantha was there with Amber. So Samantha was there before I entered the penthouse.
And do you recall whether Samantha was hugging Amber when you came in?
I recall opening the penthouse. So there's two penthouses. There's the penthouse where she gets ready. So Amber at the penthouse where Samantha gets her ready, where all Amber's clothes is. If I recall properly, that's the penthouse that I enter first, just to say hi before I would go set up in the other penthouse. And my recollection is to when I enter, Amber was crying, looked pretty upset on Samantha's shoulder, or they were like, you know, I don't know if hugging is the right way, but they would definitely had a moment where they were together, and Amber looked really upset.
Ms. Iglesias, I'm going to ask you just a couple more questions about the makeup that you applied on Amber on December 16, 2015 for the James Corden show. I think you said that you had applied some concealer and that you had some peach undertones with it to cancel out some blue. Did I hear that
Purple.
correctly? The purple.
Yeah, cancel out blue.
Asking about, I wrote down that you said that you had applied on Amber concealer, you had some peach undertones to cancel blue. Is that what you said? So what type of concealer did you apply to Amber? And if you use different color tones, can you please describe why you used the color tones you did?
I used a different kind of concealer that I would normally use on Amber, which I used a concealer that had peach undertone. Peach undertone concealer are more effective to cover any darkness of blue undertone than a normal concealer.
Do you know what type of makeup Amber Heard typically wore?
Objection,
Yes.
Can you please describe?
Yes, she's pretty natural. She has a concealer from a company called, she used to have a concealer from a company called Clé de Peau. Her makeup would be pretty simple, concealer and a little benefit tint that she used on her lips and she used on her cheeks. Very natural.
It had a natural look to it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But she did wear concealer and what you described, correct?
Do you mean in her daily life or that night?
In her daily life.
Yes, she has a concealer that she uses all the time, and she has a couple of products that she uses all the time, daily, yes. Well, I mean daily, yes, as far as I know.
And do you feel confident in what you described that you saw that day of Amber Heard's injuries? And I'm talking about December 16, 2015.
1,000%, without a doubt. Because I just don't remember, you know, it's 5 years ago, I don't remember the exact date.
And could you describe Amber Heard's demeanor in those days before and after the filing for divorce and for the domestic violence restraining order?
An area of different emotion, you know, definitely from sadness to not wanting to divorce to anger to being really upset to being really sad. So it was just a roller coaster of emotion that I think we were all there those couple of days to help navigate and go through it.
I take it from your response today, you still feel very emotional about this. It's very difficult for you, isn't it?
It's not difficult for me, no, now, no, but it just remind me at the time how I felt, yes.
When did you first tell Ms. Heard that you were no longer interested in having her as a client and being friends with her?
Don't want to be friends, don't want to be a client.
About a month ago.
How was it said?
Well, I just told Amber that, you know, I wish her well and I just have no interest in continuing a relationship, whatever it's work-wise or friendship-wise.
Why?
But is there a specific reason other than the birth of your child and the postpartum issues that you described, both as a client and Ms. Iglesias? What was your impression of Mr. Depp when you first met him?
Lovely.
You thought he was lovely?
Yeah.
Was each of the, well, let me ask the backup question. Did you interact with Mr. Depp? How many times did you interact with Mr. Depp?
Through, you mean all in all?
Oh, yes, the entirety of your interactions. How many were there, approximately?
5, maybe less than 10. Maybe, yeah.
And would you describe all your interactions with Mr. Depp as, quote, lovely?
Yes.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp act in a violent manner?
No.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp yell at Ms. Heard?
No.
Did you ever see him kick Ms. Heard?
No.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp throw an object at Ms. Heard?
No.
Bitch ain't saying
Did
nothing.
you ever see Mr. Depp slap Ms. Heard?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp kick Ms. Heard?
No.
Is it fair to say, Ms. Iglesias, that
You didn't see
never
nothing.
saw Mr. Depp be physically abusive towards Ms. Heard?
Correct.
Nothing, right?
And you never saw Mr. Depp cause any injuries to Ms. Heard, correct?
Did I ever saw him causing any injuries? No.
No, you didn't see nothing.
And so any injuries that you claim to have seen on Ms. Heard, you don't know one way or another how they were caused, correct?
Correct.
The only source of information that you have is Ms. Heard's own words, correct?
Correct.
Did you hear Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard having a fight on the phone?
I was there. I was present in the room.
But just to confirm, could you hear Mr. Depp's voice?
No.
So fair to say that the only voice you heard was Ms. Heard, correct? So you don't know what Mr. Depp said to Ms. Heard on that phone call,
I don't
correct?
know what the fuck this bitch said. I
Do
mean,
you
what the
recall
fuck he
any
said.
other occasions where you witnessed a fight between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, or heard about an incident or a fight between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, other than the 3 that we've now discussed?
I would say every time. I would say that during my friendship with Amber, before she filed for divorce, which, I mean, timeline, I don't know, a year, maybe a year and a half, it was always some conflict, some fight, some physical fights, some verbal fights, some kind of problem, it always was a problematic. It was a very consuming for me. It was all consuming about that relationship. It was a very consuming friendship, and hence that's why I decided not to continue it.
But you yourself, Ms. Iglesias, didn't witness any of these altercations, fights, arguments, correct, between Mr. Depp? I think you testified that you interacted with Mr. Depp less than 10 times. When you did interact with Mr. Depp, was Ms. Heard present each of those times?
All of those times.
Did you find him particularly loving towards Ms. Heard?
Not particularly, no.
And during these interactions with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, at that time, you were aware that Mr. Depp allegedly was abusing Ms. Heard, correct?
Well, most of the interaction that I had was towards the end of 2015, right? I'm assuming, so I was not fully aware yet of, I guess, the seriousness of their fight, if I can say so. I think, you know, most of the time I saw them together was towards the end of December, before December 15. So Thanksgiving, that time, and Amber's, I think, birthday, I'm getting the date. So the few times that I saw Mr. Depp was before I understood the seriousness of the fight.
Understanding, again, came from Ms. Heard only, correct?
Well, Ms. Heard and some of her friends, yes.
Who were some of her friends?
Rocky, Retro Pennington, Io, Twillett, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Josh, Drew, the people that were leaving, her sister, Whitney. Those were the core group.
You said you spent Thanksgiving with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard. Was that in Thanksgiving, November 2015?
Yes, correct, because they were divorced by May 2016, so yes.
How would you describe that evening?
Awkward,
Why?
because Marilyn Manson was there?
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson?
No.
Marilyn Manson in the house.
Thanksgiving, sitting there, it was quite intimate. So sitting, yeah, it was just awkward. He's just an awkward being, and it's just awkward to be there.
He had on all the makeup and shit. She was like, what the fuck? This motherfucker got on makeup and shit.
Disagreement or fight that evening?
Disagreement, maybe. Like
It's all good, bro.
agreement.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, there was, you know, it was such a small, intimate surrounding that you pick up on things. And so I could tell that it was awkward. It was just awkward. I think Mr. Depp and Mr. Manson disappeared for a while. Then
They went to go do some cocaine. What the fuck?
And you're pretty
They
sure
went to
they
go
had
do some
fight
cocaine,
because Ms.
bitch.
Heard told you
Come on,
after
man.
the
They
fact
ain't
that
doing
they
it
had
in front of
fight.
you.
Because you did not witness Mr. Depp or Ms. Heard having any type of fight the evening of Thanksgiving, correct?
correct.
Ms. Iglesias,
Marilyn Manson came
you
through
have
for
an independent
Thanksgiving.
recollection of going to the
Shout out to
penthouse
Marilyn
in
Manson's
downtown Los
tapping in for
Angeles
Thanksgiving.
on December 15th, 2015.
I have an independent. I have an independent recollection of going to the penthouse.
Facts, though.
One of the incident, and
She seemed Russian, though, like.
I couldn't recall if it was the day before the James Corden or the day before the fun incident. You know, so and that is what I made sure I needed to remember, that it was the day before December 16th. Where, yes. Does that make sense? So I knew I had come a day before, a day before one of the two biggest fights that, you know, and I wasn't sure if it was that day or that day, but it was December 15th.
And sitting here today, you're still not sure if you went to the penthouse on December 15th, 2015, or if it was the day before the May incident in 2016. And when you went to the penthouse on December 15th, I believe you testified before that you didn't see any injuries on Amber Heard that evening, correct?
Sorry, I don't recall seeing any injuries.
How can you remember all this shit?
That night.
Do you recall if Ms. Pennington was at the penthouse that evening?
Yes.
How can motherfuckers remember all this shit?
Do you recall if anybody else was at the penthouse that evening?
She eating her fingernails now.
But you do remember Miss Heard being there and Miss Pennington, correct?
Correct.
Did you take any photographs of Miss Heard the evening of December 15, 2016?
No.
Do you recall being present when any photographs of Miss Heard were taken on December 15, 2015?
I don't recall.
Do you remember being present when photographs of Miss Heard's injuries were taken on December 16th, 2015?
No.
And did you take any pictures of Miss Heard and her injuries on December 16th, 2015?
No.
So I don't want to take up the time of showing you all the photographs Miss Heard, or excuse me, Miss Bredehoff showed you earlier today, but there were a number of exhibits. I think I marked them as exhibits 14 through 20 that you were shown earlier this morning. Just to confirm, you didn't take any of those photographs, correct?
Not on my phone, not with my phone, and I do not recall taking Amber's or Rocky's phone to take those pictures. No, definitely not with my phone. I do not recall taking physically myself those pictures. No, I don't recall.
Would it be normal for Miss Heard to have makeup on her face before you arrived to do her makeup ahead of an appearance?
It would be normal for Amber to have concealer on, a little of that tint there, yes, because it is quite normal for Amber to wash her face. She always likes to wash the face before the makeup with the product that she likes, do a toner, you know, so it wouldn't be.
Well, the makeup game is a motherfucker.
Makeup before and then wash her face and start clean.
But you don't remember one way or another whether Miss Heard had a fresh face with toner and moisturizer on
Trickery.
before when you arrived on December 16th, 2018, correct?
Concealer, toner.
Would she usually wash her face and go through that process in front of you?
Yes, I mean in front of me in her bathroom, but you know we were close, so it wouldn't be abnormal for me to be chit-chatting with her while she cleaned her face. And you know, I don't think specifically in front of me or not in front of me, but yeah, I mean she would wash her face in the bathroom, which is adjacent to where we get her ready.
And I want to be really specific. So based on your best recollection, what injuries did you see on Miss Heard on December 16th, 2015?
Amber had a slight discoloration on both eyes and on the top of the bridge of the nose, and hold on, and I do believe the right eye had a little more of a gash right there. It wasn't that strong, it wasn't that swollen, but it was definitely some blue and yellow discoloration there, mainly on the inner corner and a little more here. And then she had on the right lip, as I said earlier, I'm not sure the exact medical term, but it looked like a split lip or like a gash here.
Did you ever see Miss Heard's lip bleed on December 15th or December 16th?
I don't recall.
But you have you remember that it was not bleeding on December 16th when you were applying the makeup, correct?
When I was applying the makeup, correct.
How about before you were applying the makeup? Do you recall it bleeding?
I don't recall.
And I think you described it as either a gash or a split lip.
I don't know what would be the medical term for it. I don't know what kind of injury would have caused this. I'm not a medical expert, no forensic expert, but it was slightly swollen. And by the way, you can see it in that video. So it's crazy to me, but it was slightly swollen. And there was either a gash or a scab. No, not a scab, but it was swollen with some kind of cut.
Do you recall Miss Heard ever having a cold sore on her lips?
I didn't even think about that.
You said there was slight discoloration.
I did not even
under
think
both
about
eyes.
that.
Was there swelling under both eyes as well?
I didn't think about that. What's up? Did I stop? Oh.
Like a bruise. Maybe there was a little tiny swelling on one of the eye that was a little more injured than the other, but not huge swelling, no.
I believe your testimony earlier today was that he lightly headbutted her. Is that correct?
I wasn't there. I don't know if he lightly or not lightly headbutted her.
That was your testimony, that it appeared as if she had been, quote, lightly headbutted. Do you remember saying that earlier?
It's not my position to say.
Oh!
Headbutted she was or anything. And maybe I misquoted.
Okay. And did she show you the hair that was missing?
She showed us, me and the hairdresser, the hole where the hair was missing on top of the head.
And was Miss McMillan there as well?
No, Samantha McNabb was really never when we get ready. So it was two separate things, and Samantha never really comes up when we get ready, no.
But just to confirm, these injuries, right, that you saw on Miss Heard on December 16th, 2015, you don't know how they were caused, correct?
Correct.
And so any information you have only.
From December 16th, correct.
Well, any injuries other than Miss Heard and her friends, you never witnessed Mr. Depp being violent or abusive towards Miss Heard and causing any injuries.
Correct.
So let's talk about the makeup that you actually used to conceal these injuries on her face on December 16th.
What did you see, bitch?
You used a concealer with a peach undertone.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have training and experience dealing with injuries or covering up bruising on people? Do you have any specific experience or education?
Specific experience, I have experience in doing bruises and cover bruises for special effect. I mean, throughout my career, I have created bruises, and I also have covered bruises.
Oh, she's created bruises.
Real life, whatever it is. So, yeah, I have experience in covering some bruises. Yes.
How about swelling? Same question.
She has created bruises.
It's a little harder to cover swelling. That would be maybe, try to bring the swelling down. Covering it up would be not pretty. Would be harder.
And how about cuts?
Yeah.
Specifically as it relates to Ms. Heard's makeup look on December 16th, do you recall what foundation you used?
The brand?
You probably don't remember the brand, but do you recall the shade that you used?
How would I? No, it's 5 years ago. Absolutely not.
Do you recall?
No.
But you do have a specific recollection of using a peach undertone concealer.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because Amber always has.
She says she created bruises.
She has the same concealer. She has a concealer from a brand called Clear the Pool, and it's a specific shade. It's beige. Beige was Amber's color for under her eyes. Period. So the day December 16, I didn't use beige. There's another concealer that has a little more peach in there and orange. It's called Honey, from the same family, and I use that instead. And I think I have a wheel that is a bruise wheel that has different colors, and you pick up the color.
Man, I didn't peep that. And you know what? I ain't even think about that, man.
Did you make
I ain't even think about the herpes shit, bro. And all these motherfuckers got herpes out here, bro. All them bitches got herpes, man. That's regular. That's regular, nigga. Yeah.
As I know you read it before. We had a red lip. It was not uncommon for her. We know she has a signature red lip, so it's not suddenly it was, oh my gosh, she has a red lip. But I remember that day I specifically structured my makeup there's a couple of things we do with Amber. We do a smoky eye and a nude lip or red lip, and I remember specifically thinking of my makeup about we needed to highlight there to try to not draw attention there, and the red lips was our only option to cover that red cut that was there. So that I remember very specifically thinking.
How much
of
this
that.
bitch
You know, I have a
charge?
red lip,
Oh, how much this
sharp brows,
bitch
and
charge to
then
come through with
makeup
and
take
hook up a
away
bit?
from here. So basically, I mean, it's not going to be nothing to you guys, but just basically a lot of highlight up here to kind of not focus on this. I remember talking about it very clearly.
And forgive my ignorance, but what did you do to cover up the cut on the lip other than apply a red lip?
A red lip. A red lip. It is swollen. I can see it in the video on the James Corden show. So lips was swollen. It was big on that side. You can see it. There's nothing I can do about that. But we did a really dark red lip to match that red.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Gash or cut, whatever.
But you know what though? I've been fucking with
Miss
color
Bird
theory
being
lately, man. I
hindered
should have knew that shit.
as a result of the injury on her lip? And when I say hindered, I
I've been
mean,
fucking with a lot
she
of
had
color
trouble
theory.
opening her mouth widely, or, you know, did she complain about it hurting or splitting open and bleeding? Do you recall any of that?
I don't recall.
And again, just to confirm, on December 15th, 2015, you don't recall seeing any injuries, including a split lip, on Amber Heard, correct?
Correct.
Do you recall having any specific conversation with the hairstylist that was doing Miss Heard's hair on December 16th, 2015, as it related to the abuse that Miss Heard was describing for you?
Yeah. Yes. We talked a bit about it. Yes.
And what do you recall about that conversation?
I mean, you know, I think everybody was a little like, whoa, shit, okay. I think everybody was a little surprised. Everybody was a little like not knowing how to move forward with it. I mean, but we talked, as I said, when Amber was in the chair and Adia was behind her and I was in front of her, I recall the three of us having this conversation, and I recall Adia showing me the hole there.
But just to confirm, you don't know how that chunk of hair was.
You don't know.
You don't know what caused that chunk of hair to be missing, correct?
I don't know it, correct.
You don't have
bet.
any personal knowledge, I should say, as to how that chunk of hair came to be missing from her head.
Well, I did not witness it, correct.
Alex, may I please have you bring up Depp 9? Ms. Iglesias, you've testified previously that you see, watching the video clip, right? You see Ms. Heard's, you see the swollen lip and you see bruising.
Yeah. I see. I've known that face. I know that face so well. I've done it so many times. I can tell where the bruises are, and I can tell where the swollen lip is, correct.
So, Ms. Iglesias, do you mind please identifying for me, is this, does this photograph accurately depict Ms. Heard on the James Corden show on December 16th, 2015?
Yes.
But can you describe for me where you see bruising on Ms. Heard's face?
Well, no, I didn't say I saw bruise, but I saw the discoloration. I can see my makeup, so I see the discoloration on the right eye, just right under. I see that little dent there. And also, I mean, this is a picture that is, you know, this is not a really accurate picture. She's sideways, the light is one way, you know, but yes, there's better pictures that you can see. But if you give me the mouth, I will show you, but there's other still picture when you can see the split lip better, or the swollen lip. So I mean, I can see there's better pictures where you can see that side of her lip is swollen. This here.
And when you're pointing, just to, for the record, you're pointing to the right side of Ms. Heard's lip, correct?
Correct. here. Nothing. But as I said, there's better pictures. She's sideways. There's better pictures where you can see what I feel you can see better. But
It might be the same photograph.
yeah, she's still sideways.
But Ms. Iglesias, it's your testimony that you believe you can see swelling on the right side of Ms. Heard's lip.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see any bruising or concealed bruising under her eyes?
Well, I mean, I know I've concealed those bruises, so yeah, so I can see them because I know I did it, but so that's neither here or there, but yeah, I mean, I can see them just on the eyes, on the right eyes, I can see the little gash right there. And I can, all that darkness, right, I mean, I don't have the mask anymore, but all that darkness right there, that is not eyeshadow. And that is neither dark circle for not sleeping. This is part of the little, you know, the injury is showing through.
Do you see any discoloration or bruising on the bridge of her nose?
I do not, no, I must have done a great job there.
Do you recall anything about Ms. Heard's appearance when you first encountered her in Coachella Valley?
No, I don't recall.
Did you notice any injuries on Ms. Heard?
I don't recall.
Do you recall Ms. Heard discussing any abuse that she had sustained the night of her birthday on April 21st, 2016 by Mr. Depp?
Yes.
What do you recall about that?
I recall there was a fight, there was I don't remember. I don't exactly recall the fight. I know there was a fight and there was some problem. That's why they were late coming back to Coachella's. I don't recall exactly what she told me, but there was some problem the night before, yes.
But you don't remember seeing any injuries on Ms. Heard?
But she would have noticed her face because she
birthday dinner
specializes in
April
faces.
2016, correct?
She's a facial specialist.
Do you recall seeing any injuries on Ms. Heard's face at that dinner on May 24th, 2016?
I don't recall.
Do you
She's a
recall
facial
Ms. Heard's general
specialist.
demeanor at the dinner on May 24th, 2016?
What I remember about that dinner is that she was, and I tell you why I remember this clearly, because she was very distraught and she was very confused if she should file or not for divorce. And she was really sad and upset.
Why would a
angry
bitch want to leave
and
Johnny
all of it.
Depp?
And I remember that because that night I actually physically took her phone, so she should not, so that if Johnny tried to reach out to her again, she wouldn't have a phone that night, and she would go through the divorce tomorrow, the next day. So I remember physically having her phone.
Bitch, you that involved?
And when I dropped,
Are you
when I dropped
serious?
them back at the penthouse,
Bitch, you that
she said,
involved?
"Keep my phone, so if you contact me."
But
I
you don't
won't
remember
know,
if the
I
bitch
won't
face
pay,
was fucked
and
up,
I will
though.
file for divorce tomorrow. So I went home in my house with her phone, and that's why I remember. That's why it's sticking in my mind. And then the next morning, and you can see in those texts, she said, "I need my phone," and then I had to drive to the penthouse and give her her phone back. And at the time, that day,
Bitch, what
I'm
you?
assuming she filed for divorce, and that day the whole circus started.
And you believe that Ms. Heard should go through with the divorce, correct?
Correct.
Bitch, how?
And
Why?
that was based on
Bitch, why?
what exactly, Ms. Iglesias?
Bitch, what you know?
What she told me on
bitch.
her recollection of her
Bitch.
marriage.
I think you testified earlier that Amber's practice was to wear concealer, some foundation, moisturizer, things of that nature. Do you have any recollection that Amber strayed from that and did not wear makeup during the week of May 21st, 2016?
No.
Do you have any recollection that week of thinking, oh my goodness, Amber Heard isn't wearing her makeup this week?
No.
So do you know whether Amber Heard took any steps to reduce her swelling during this, in preparation for the James Corden show?
Yes, she took arnica and we had an arnica gel. I always have arnica gel in my kit anyway, and she had arnica gel. She used arnica gel and some ice.
And what does arnica gel do with respect to swelling?
I use arnica gel in my kit to bring any swelling area of my client's face down.
And how does that typically work? What's your experience?
It just brings the swelling down. I mean, not drastically, but it does. It helps with the swelling a little bit.
Is that it?
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
I had a feeling that was
video.
I had a feeling that was gonna be it.
Certainly.
I had a feeling it was gonna be it right there. I didn't get to say nothing though. I was gonna say, oh, that's it. Johnny Depp, man, they all got their hands in your pockets, my nigga. They got their hands in your pockets, man. A whole bunch of motherfuckers with hands in their pockets, man. All you need is your security and some weed, nigga. Fuck all that other shit. Y'all motherfuckers live where y'all live at. Stay up in the castle by yourself, nigga. Fuck that, nigga. Fuck that. You don't need no bitches up in there with you, man, filming you while you sleep. Wicked, evil-ass bitch. Setting up cameras trying to catch a nigga slipping-ass bitch. Bitch got friends coming through, tearing up shit, taking pictures, bitch. But you ain't taking no real pictures of no real injuries, bitch. Got your homegirl slapping you, taking pictures, bitch. What the fuck? This shit brazy. Bitch whole focus just to tap them pockets. Mad because Johnny Depp is lit. Mad because bitches go crazy when Johnny Depp step his old ass outside. Johnny Depp be outside old as fuck and still getting love. They treat him like they still love him. You understand me? Bitch jealous, man. I know what this is. A bitch is jealous. Y'all niggas bear witness of a bitch in your house jealous of you. You understand me? You trying to put his arm around a bitch and a bitch over there jealous, mad because she ain't popping like that. Then shit on a nigga and try to do him in. This bullshit right here, man, I tell you, man. Beware of bitches that's jealous of you, nigga. You think it's not possible. It's real. A bitch could be jealous. A bitch could be jealous. Oh, shit. What's finna happen?
All right, your next witness.
Your Honor, we're going to call Christy Sexton, and this is by video deposition as well.
That name don't even sound good.
Okay, thank you.
That don't even sound good. How this gonna go, man? What kind of bitch is this?
Ms. Sexton, why don't you state your whole name for the record and your current address?
Christina Lisette Sexton, Queensland, Australia.
For how long, Ms. Sexton, had you lived in Australia?
I've been at that address since July 2017. There was a transitionary period. I met my husband in December of 2015. So 16 and 17 decisions on which country we were going to move to and such. So I did not establish residency here until July, and then began all my paperwork subsequently when we were married in October of 2017.
So I take it from your last answer, Ms. Sexton, that Australia was the lucky winner for which country you and your husband would choose to live in. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed.
And do you currently have a job? Do you currently work right now in Australia?
Yes, I'm an acting coach.
When was it, to the best of your recollection, that she took a class that you were a TA in?
I believe it was sometime in 2009.
For how long did you remain Amber Heard's primary or exclusive acting coach?
I don't know about exclusive. We don't have any sort of exclusivity contracts. She may work with other coaches. The last time we worked on a project together would be Aquaman, so 2017.
She had to have an
I
acting
don't know
coach
about
for
exclusive. We
Aquaman.
don't have any sort of exclusivity contract.
She had to have an acting coach for Aquaman.
The last time we worked on a project together.
It wasn't no hell of a.
So 2007.
That was just a bitch with the outfit on it, Aquaman. You understand me? What the fuck?
Say that you were working on as an acting coach with Amber Heard with the Playboy Club.
Yes.
Listed there 2011.
Yes.
I take it from what you just described that although the frequency varied, it's fair to say, is it not, that you saw Ms. Heard many, many, many times during the period between 2010 and 2017?
Oh, yes.
Would it be fair to say that you saw Ms. Heard during this 7-year period more than 100 times?
Easily, yes.
And when you say easily, do you think it's also fair to say that you saw her more than 200 times?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm going to go up another 100. Same answer for 300 times?
Yeah. As I said, when I would see her, it would be multiple times a week in preparation for a project.
When's the last time that you had a session with Amber Heard as her primary acting coach?
Mid-2017.
During that early period when she lived on Orange Avenue, how would you describe, Amber Heard as an actor?
She was really focused on moving to the next level of her career and really stretching herself as an actor. Which is why she started coaching so much at that time and initially even went to classes. So she was really driven to do a lot of work and kind of mine out everything that we could from the text and go over things a lot. So she was very driven as an actor to, I would say, get to the next phase of her career.
We're looking at Section 1. Refresh your recollection as to when that took place. That's the IMDb page.
Yes, it was either 2011 or 2012. If it's saying that it came out in 2011, then the premiere would have been in 2011, so yeah.
When was the next time you recall seeing Johnny or Mr. Depp?
I would say sometime in the middle of the following year.
So sometime in the middle of 2012, you think?
Yeah.
And where was that?
At her house on Orange. I remember seeing him quite a bit. In the early period.
Again, I'm focused on the early period. Did you have occasion to run into Mr. Depp at your coaching sessions with Amber later when she moved into Sweetser Avenue and then at the penthouse in downtown Los Angeles?
Yes, I did see him often at both Sweetser and the downtown house.
And over that period of time, did you observe changes in Mr. Depp's behavior?
Yeah, Johnny became, I would say, much darker as time went on. He was, like, figuratively and literally, he would sit in dark rooms. The art overall changed, like everything got much darker in the houses.
Okay, this bitch is untrustworthy right here, man. I don't like this bitch.
I don't know what the art form was.
This is a ugly bitch right here, acting coach, taking orders from Amber Heard because she a pretty bitch. That's what I think in a bluntest form. This is a ugly bitch right here, disgruntled. I don't give a fuck. She's hating. That's my position.
And when I did, he wasn't very happy.
What would you hear him say on those occasions when you could hear him but not see him?
I think this they start witness right here to try to fuck him up. I think this is supposed to be a good one for them.
His team, bodyguards and stuff, or his friends that were over making music at the Sweetser location. Sometimes it was him and Amber fighting. Like, I was in his home, so I heard him quite a bit.
You said a couple of answers ago that from time to time you would hear Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard fighting. Can you, again, keeping in mind that it's a long time ago, can you describe what you heard?
I would say I would just hear a lot of him yelling. His voice would carry through kind of the halls of the house. And then, I remember one time in specific that I could hear Amber was trying to get out of the room, and then the door shut again, and then I could just hear muffled yelling on his part.
At the beginning of their relationship, once Ms. Heard has revealed to you that they were in fact in a relationship, did she talk to you about Mr. Depp's struggles with drugs and alcohol?
In the early parts of their relationship, she had said that he was sober. She was trying to support
Man,
him.
he was never sober. The fuck?
And
He always been high and faded.
Relationship, we would talk about his breaks in sobriety.
Based on your work
That's
as
Jack
his
Sparrow.
acting coach, primary acting coach,
He high and
your
drunk.
understanding that Mr. Depp had opinions about what role Ms. Heard should take.
There were a couple of occasions where I actually heard Johnny say, why would you want to do that kind of role?
He trying to help a dumb
Play
bitch.
that kind
He
of
a
role.
superior actor
Stuff
to
like
this
that.
bitch.
Heard
A
few
bitch
times
should
from him
listen.
over the-
Why ain't a bitch listening to Johnny Depp?
Other than saying that hearing Mr. Depp say he didn't want his woman playing a whore, excuse me, did you ever hear him use any other language like that about the kind of roles that Ms. Heard was being offered? To focus you in, Ms. Sexton, I'm talking about the period when Amber and Johnny were together in a relationship until you stopped being her acting coach in 2017. And I'm focusing in on what you recall hearing from Mr. Depp about what roles he thought Ms. Heard should play.
As I said, he would be sitting. Initially, when she lived in the Orange location, sometimes he would be nearby. It was a fairly small house, and he would be nearby and kind of earshot. So there were times that he was kind of just disparaging. That's a shitty role. Why would you do that? That kind of thing. But he wasn't super negative then. Later on, as it went on, he was very vocal about the negative terms. Like I said, he called it a whore part or a trash part, or a piece of shit, all sorts of things like that. Generally pretty negative if it was something he didn't want her to do.
Did the number of roles that Ms. Heard auditioned for change during the time that she was involved with Mr. Depp?
Yes, it did. It was decreasing as it went, and there would be stretches of time where she wasn't auditioning at all or working on anything at all.
During the time that Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard were together, did you observe changes in their relationship over time?
Yeah, early on they were incredibly lovey-dovey and passionate and always together in a positive way. They were very playful and friendly. And then I would see less and less of them together, and I would hear a lot of muffled arguments through the walls. And when I did see him, sometimes the balance would shift. It went from being like a normal couple to very tension-filled, especially those last few months that they were together. And yeah.
Did they, was there a withdrawn? Did the number of times that Ms. Heard was late for or canceled sessions with you change as her relationship with Mr. Depp went on in time?
Yeah, as I said earlier,
Clear example of a bitch not following the lead, my nigga.
Worked at the studio.
And the bitch should be following the nigga lead. She probably like, you lucky.
I began having
You
to
lucky.
build in a
Bitch,
cushion
I ain't
of an
lucky.
hour
I'm
around
dope,
her
bitch.
appointment.
Matter of fact,
Started out
bitch, you
spending
fired,
2
bitch.
minutes
Get the
here
fuck
and there
on, bitch. You don't believe,
she'd
bitch.
be late coming downstairs, or they'd be discussing, or he had to talk to her at that moment in time. And eventually, as the relationship progressed and the fighting got heavier, I would have to build in time because she'd be sobbing at the beginning of sessions, and we couldn't work until we got her together. Yeah, I ended up having to do a lot of cushion time around her just so that we could actually get something accomplished, because she was often very upset.
Did you have occasion to observe Ms. Heard crying, naturally, not acting, when you had coaching sessions with her during the time that she was together romantically with Mr. Depp?
I would say the last year they were together, probably 80–90% of our sessions began with her crying. That would be increasing as it went on. Ironically, she has a little difficulty crying, acting-wise, so which a lot of us do. And so, yeah, we would have to work when we were doing it acting-wise, but it was a lot towards the end there, a lot of crying sessions.
Based on your testimony here, Ms. Sexton, is the crying that she did in a role different than the crying you observed so often in the last year of her relationship with Mr. Depp?
Yes, inherently acting crying is very different, unless somebody is working in what's called method, in which that's an entirely different thing where they focus on their own stuff. So she's not a method actor, so it would be completely different.
Speaking for your own...
This bitch, man, I don't trust her.
How did you react when you saw Amber at these sessions crying the way you described it?
I have a caretaker personality, so I would prioritize taking care of the person in front of me over doing work, which is why I ended up building in all that extra time, because I cared about her as a human, and I wanted to be there for her in as much as I could as a friend. So there's no point on working on something if someone is
Salute Dwayne
upset.
for tapping in.
It's important to deal with the person and take care of them than work.
And during those sessions, particularly in the last year when you saw Ms. Heard crying so often, what was your understanding of the reason for her tears?
I would hear them fighting and then hear her come in, and she would be a wreck after she came in. I couldn't make out what they were saying, and I personally wasn't trying to listen to their fights, so I would just hear the sounds of the screaming. And her usually,
yeah, man.
You could tell she would open the door and try to get him to be quiet, and then it'd go back to him yelling. And so that would directly occur before she would come down and be upset and trying to pull herself together.
What do you recall seeing her say she told you that they were fighting about?
I was witness to some of those. He didn't want her going out without any sort of security or any team. He didn't want her going and doing things.
That's a real spit.
Just on her own.
You described earlier in your testimony, Ms. Sexton, what Amber Heard was like when you first met her. During this period when she was involved with Mr. Depp, and particularly toward the end of their relationship, did her behavior change?
Over the course of time, she became more and more of a hermit, only leaving the house when she had to. Again, as I said earlier, literally the houses became darker with the curtains drawn all the time. I remember one time in particular when she was living at the Eastern Columbia that we went downstairs to get a slice of pizza. I think there were 4 of us, and Amber gave a homeless kid down there some money, and we helped him get to the bus stop, and we came back up, and
she's such a good person.
Her about going out, and that she knew better than to be going out at night and that kind of thing. And when we tried to kind of be like, it's fine, we got pizza downstairs at the building.
She's such a
across
good
the street.
person.
Then he just started screaming,
Humanitarian.
and getting angry. So I made my way out.
What about her weight? You notice any changes during that period in her weight. Just to be clear, Ms. X, I'm asking about the time that she was involved with Mr. Depp.
So Amber is one of those people that loses weight when she's stressed out. So she would drop weight and look skeletal at certain points in time. I remember right before their wedding, she had lost a significant amount of weight to the point that I was asking her if she was eating regularly. So she's always been fit, but she would drop down and get a little gaunt if she was super stressed out.
And in that last year that she was involved with Mr. Depp, do you know changes in her weight?
Yeah, she lost a significant amount of weight, and I noticed it specifically because I had been in Australia doing a film, and then when I came back, so I'd been in Australia since December, I came back in February, and she looked, she was skin and bones. Like she was much thinner than she normally was at that point.
Yeah, I don't like this
so I know
bitch,
during
man.
that time period that she had lost a lot of weight and she was very gaunt.
Now, I'm going to shortly move on to specific incidents. But for now, Ms. X, I want to speak generally about things you observed and saw. And the first question I have in that regard is, during the time that you were Amber Heard's acting coach and she was involved with Mr. Depp, did you observe injuries on Ms. Heard?
When she came back from Australia, there were a lot of like little red marks on her arms that looked like freshly healing things. Skin, like red marks on her skin, sorry, on her arms that I saw. And then subsequently I would see like bruises that looked like arms being grabbed or wrists.
Did you see Johnny do that shit though,
I saw
bitch?
that all
Did you
towards
see
the end.
Johnny do that though?
Did there come a time when you accompanied Amber Heard and Johnny Depp to Hicksville, California?
Yes, I went to Hicksville for Johnny's birthday celebration with them.
And in your own words, can you tell me about that trip and what happened chronologically?
We arrived at Hicksville and we had made kind of like a barbecue and drinks as we were having a lovely time. Johnny was playing guitar and singing, and then as the night went on, like around sundown, they started passing around a bag of mushrooms and a bag of white powder. I didn't even partake in the alcohol because I had had surgery a few months before, so I was the only one stone cold sober. Then I went to bed early, and while my friend and I were in our trailer and we heard the fighting happening, Johnny screaming and a commotion, we didn't come out of our trailer, and then the quieting down and everyone being like, oh, it's okay, the bodyguards, I heard them running over there. And then the next morning when we got up, the group was talking about what had happened that night. And then I kind of left that conversation and went to the trailer to check on Amber. And I saw the completely torn apart trailer. Johnny was apologizing for what he had done, and he was instructing his bodyguards to just pay it off. Let's just take care of it. And I stayed with Amber. She was really shaken up.
The next day, can you describe for me what the trailer where Amber and Johnny were staying looked like?
The inside was in shambles. I remember seeing a light hanging off the wall. There was broken stuff everywhere. Dishes, it looked like, or not dishes, like the wood was broken. Things were hanging off the wall. It was in shambles on the inside.
And that next day, I think you said that you had occasion to see Mr. Depp. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How did he look that next day when you saw the trailer?
He looked very worried. He was apologizing. He was saying he would take care of it. He was like, don't worry about it, babe. We're going to get this taken care of. And Amber was really like closed off and quiet, and he just kept kind of apologizing to her over and over again, and then telling his bodyguards to just take care of it, just get it done, whatever it is, just pay for it. And then he went off to go have that conversation with them.
What was Mr. Depp saying that next day when he was apologizing?
I just remember him saying, I'm so sorry, babe, I'll take care of it. I know this is bad, but I can take care of it. I'm sorry I did this, that kind of thing.
He said, I'm sorry I did this.
Testified in survey, but I want to make sure the record is clear. Did you recall Mr. Depp using the word monster that day?
I heard him on different times making apologies that he said, I'm sorry I turned into a monster. I just remember a profuse amount of apologies. I don't know if that time in particular had that verbiage.
Anything else about Hicksville that you remember that you haven't told me about?
I mean, the only thing I stated that I did see him eat the mushrooms. I saw him holding the white bag. I don't know what he did with that, the bag of white powder.
You don't know what was in the
everyone
bag.
Except for me was drinking, and different people were partaking in different drugs at that time. So I didn't keep track of that. Yeah, I don't know anything else that I can recall.
Okay. I want to go forward to another incident, and that is the day of April 21, 2016, which I'll represent to you, was Amber Heard's 70th birthday. Did you have occasion to see Amber Heard that day?
Yes, I attended the party.
And again, you say you attended the party. Can you describe the party you attended, who was there?
The party was happening in one of the penthouses, the one that they didn't live in. It's where they did most of their art, and we did most of our coaching. And I don't remember the number of that one.
Nigga just got a work penthouse. Penthouse for working in. That's what's up, Johnny Depp.
A couple hours waiting for Johnny. And then eventually Amber said, just let's not stop waiting for him. Let's just start. So we went out to the balcony to start dinner, and that's when Johnny finally came down, and he was severely inebriated when he came down.
Man, Johnny Depp is always faded. What the fuck? Jack Sparrow.
Brandon, I don't remember his last name. It starts with an M. Escorted him, kind of helped him stay stable. And we went to the table and we started dinner. And Johnny and I was sitting 2 seats away from Johnny. Johnny and Amber clearly were very tense and had been, I don't know what they had been doing, but they were very tense. And he would try to kind of touch her and she would shy away. And then Rocky was trying to change the tone of the party because it had really gotten
This bitch
very
ain't good
somber
for the
at that
camera,
point.
man.
And she asked everyone to kind of say
You know what I'm
their story
saying?
about Amber, and as we went around the table, everyone shared their stories.
See, Amber had it up when she was testifying. It was up. It was a intention. It's tense.
He first met her, the imprint of Amber's ass on his couch were his words, and it just all kind of took a turn from there. She was clearly embarrassed. She asked him to stop, and he
How's a bitch gonna be embarrassed about him saying it, talking about the imprint of her? Bitches love that shit.
recovered.
Get the fuck out of here, bitch.
We ate, and then I left shortly thereafter.
Come on,
I
man.
forgot to ask you this question about Hicksville. The day after,
Y'all inferior to Johnny Depp. All y'all motherfuckers.
Mr. Depp,
All y'all motherfuckers.
the Rex trailer, did Ms.
Yeah, as I said, Amber was very closed off. She was very quiet. She had said, "Don't come in. I don't want you to see this." So, yeah, she seemed very embarrassed.
Now, switching forward to Amber's 30th birthday party, I think you testified that Mr. Depp seemed inebriated when he arrived. What's your basis for saying that?
He was slurring his words and wobbly on his feet. He ran into a couple things, which is when Brandon came over and kind of locked arms with him to kind of help him stand up.
You said you saw her later with a healing bruise. Where do you recall seeing that healing bruise?
On her cheek. It was on her right cheek, I think. I think it was right, yeah.
Do you know how long after the incident that you just discussed with the cell phone you saw Ms. Heard in her face?
It was a few days later, but I couldn't tell you exactly when. I mean, everyone heals at a different rate. I could still see kind of the yellow and stuff in there, so.
When was the last time you spoke to Amber? You said August of this year?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you spoke to her specifically? Do you remember?
We went over it was sometime in August. I can narrow it down to August.
I think this the cross.
To have wine.
Is this the cross?
Have a glass of wine and catch up, because, like I said, I think it had been 2 years since we'd physically seen each other.
Both times when you met with Ms. Heard in August of this year, did you meet with her at her house?
Yes.
Did Ms. Heard mention any of the allegations that Mr. Depp is making against her in relation to this case when you met with her?
Only to talk to the attorneys about it.
When you say only to talk to the attorneys about it, what specifically did Ms. Heard tell you?
Like she said, would you be willing to sit down and talk to my attorneys about everything that you witnessed? And then afterwards,
Bitch, I need your help. I'm about to get Johnny for these imps.
It felt really intense to me. And
I need your help, bitch.
Was it during one of these two times that you met with Ms. Heard in August of this year that Ms. Heard told you for the first time that Mr. Depp had allegedly raped her with a bottle in Australia?
Yeah, she did talk about the bottle then, yeah.
Was it the first meeting that you had with Ms. Heard in August of this year that she mentioned that?
No, it was...
I forgot
it
about
was
the rape
after,
with the bottle
like,
shit.
I had come to see her and had a wine night and catch up. And then after I had talked to the attorneys, after we had a good cry, we were talking more about what had happened, and she was saying how she didn't even tell me everything, and yeah, that's when it came out.
And just to confirm, Ms. Sexton, Ms. Heard told you about the bottle incident in Australia where she claims Mr. Depp penetrated her with it before your deposition, your first deposition in this case in August of 2019?
Yes. It was after I had talked to the attorneys.
After you had spoken to the attorneys informally, correct, at her house?
Yeah.
But it was before you were formally deposed in this case on I believe it was August 30th, 2019?
Yes.
And just to confirm and make the record really clear, this was the first time Ms. Heard had told you that Mr. Depp had allegedly penetrated her with a bottle in Australia, correct?
Yeah, she had told me about the assault with the bottle, being hit with the bottle and the broken glass and everything. And then...
Rape with a bottle.
She had told me about all that many times before. And then this time she started crying and sobbing and started telling me about the assault, the penetrative assault.
And when Ms. Heard told you about this alleged rape that occurred, did she know that you were going to be deposed by her attorney?
No, because they were all in the other room. And they didn't even tell me that they were like, we may have you for a deposition. And that's when I had said to them, if you're going to do that, I would appreciate it if you did it before I left the States. And they said, we may or may not need you. And it was a couple days later that they then sent me the contact and said, we are going to subpoena you.
Since you've known Ms. Heard, can you tell me how many times you spent maybe a significant amount of time with Mr. Depp?
I would say probably around like 10 or
Poor
20
Elon
times.
trending.
10 or 20 times that you saw Mr. Depp and spent maybe more significant time than him just passing through a room. How many times would you say he was or appeared to be sober?
Not many. If he was coming down to have a conversation, he was pouring a glass of whiskey or rolling a joint or having wine. It always seemed to me that he's not a social animal, if you will.
Elon trending
He would have a drink or a smoke in order
on
to
Twitter.
go talk to people, is what it felt like. So most of the time I saw him, it was that.
You would agree with me, though, Ms. Sexton, that someone getting a drink is different than someone appearing drunk, correct? For example, if it was his first drink of the day. So my question is a little bit more specific. Of the 10 or 20 times that you saw Mr. Depp, how many times did he appear inebriated? Not, holding a glass of whiskey or smoking a joint, but how many times did he appear inebriated to you?
I would say at least half, if not more.
How would you describe Mr. Depp's personality when he was or appeared sober versus when he appeared inebriated?
He was very quiet when he was sober, and before he would start drinking, he was very quiet. Almost a whisper, mumble most of the time. And then he would get very loud when he was inebriated, and he would go to like boisterous first and telling like cool stories and stuff, that kind of happy drunk, and then it would move into the loud, angry drunk.
When you say loud and angry drunk, did you witness Mr. Depp be angry when he was drunk?
A couple of times, yeah.
When was the first time you witnessed Mr. Depp appear to be angry and inebriated?
I couldn't tell you the first time per se. I have images in my head. I remember him like yelling.
I don't trust this bitch.
Bodyguard coming over and being like, "Hey, boss, let's take this to another room."
Can you tell me as much as you can remember of that incident?
I remember being in the kitchen of that house, and he came down and he was yelling about something. Amber and I were having a conversation, and we were going to work on something that day. It was later in the evening where it was really dark in there. Like I said, sometimes they drew all the curtains. In my memory, it's very dark. And he was yelling, and that older guy came and like scooped his arm around him and was like, "All right, boss, let's take this to another place," because he was inebriated. I could tell from the way he was talking, and he was just kind of yelling. And I don't recall what was happening. It all kind of happened very quickly. I don't recall what he was yelling about, or if it was even at anybody. He was just kind of down there and drunk, and he scooped him up.
You anticipated my questions, which were who was he yelling at and what was he yelling about. So you don't recall, is that correct?
No, I don't.
And you said the other instance that you remember of Mr. Depp appearing inebriated and being angry was at one of his penthouses in downtown LA, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
What were the circumstances that you remember about that incident?
I remember one time he was mad that people were in the house because I had just gotten there. I don't even remember. There might have been like 2 people there or something. I don't remember. But yeah, he was storming up those stairs to his office bedroom area. And then Amber and I went to the other penthouse to work.
And in either incident, both at Sweetser and at the penthouse, when you saw Mr. Depp and he appeared inebriated and was angry and yelling, did you see him Heard at any point?
No, I did not see him hit her.
Did you see him kick Ms. Heard?
I did not see him kick her.
Did you see him throw something at Ms. Heard?
I saw him coming at her, and that's when the bodyguard stepped in, like coming towards her. But I did not, like, so throwing himself at, like, but I was not witness to him throwing objects at her.
When you say he was coming at her, are you describing the incident at Speaker or at the penthouse?
Sweet sir, he came in through that hallway, and we were sitting at, it was kind of like an island there, like right in front of the fridge, and I was in front of the fridge, and he came in from there and was like coming at her, and then the bodyguard, like came in and scooped him up.
This is the incident. You don't remember what Mr. Depp was yelling about or
Yeah.
why?
Yes.
But it appeared to you that Mr. Depp was coming at Ms. Heard.
Yeah.
Correct?
She was shaking and upset. It felt like something that had been going on for a while.
And all the time that you've known Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp, did you ever see Mr. Depp be violent towards Ms. Heard?
I never saw him hit her. I heard him use terminology, as I said before, and as I said, come at her, but I never saw him hit her. If I had, I would have called the cops, to be honest.
You never saw Mr. Depp throw anything at her, any objects at her, correct?
No, the only thing I saw was the aftermath. Like, I would see things broken afterwards. And like I said, in Hicksville, I heard the yelling and then saw the breaking and saw him apologizing for it. But I, with my own two eyes, did not see him physically break the stuff or throw the stuff.
When Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard went to Australia, did she tell you that she threw a bottle of vodka at him and that's what severed his finger?
No, she had told me that he had broken the bottle and cut himself with the bottle that he had broken.
When she told you that he had cut himself with the bottle he had broken, did she say that he had taken the bottle and cut off his finger, or that it was an accident and that his finger was severed from the broken bottle? Do you understand the distinction?
Yeah, she didn't say that he... She didn't indicate that he cut off, like, went purposely to cut it. What it seemed to me is that he had broken the bottle against something, and then he was doing things with the bottle, like shaking it around, and that he had cut himself from that. It didn't indicate that he had in any way purposely cut himself.
Do you recall Johnny ever saying something to you in a conversation with him later about his ability to pass insurance tests?
I remember a specific time when Amber still lived at Orange, and Amber was out with her girlfriends, and I had come over too early for the party, so it was just Johnny and I sitting there having some whiskey, and he was smoking cigars, and he was talking about that it was, I said something about, he said he had to get up early to do a test, and I was like, oh, don't you have any sort of, like, concern about that? And he's like, it's easy to fake insurance tests. That's why we do what we do. I was talking to him because another client of mine had to do an insurance test, and he was like,
This
oh, you
bitch.
can fake a piss test, you can do this.
I don't like this bitch, man.
And he just kind of went over
I don't
a
like
few
this
different
bitch.
ways that it's easy to fake insurance tests and made a joke of it.
It's over.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the day today, so have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Again, do not discuss the case with anybody and don't do any outside research, okay? Have a good evening.
And just like that, it is over for the day. What can you say? BossMackTopSoil right here for you in the right way. Man, I must say, man, ain't none of this measuring up to when Amber Heard was getting down when she was up on the stand. I kind of thought.
All right. Do you have any remote witnesses tomorrow that you need access for?
Do we,
Do you need a WebEx? You don't need a WebEx link?
Deposition designations and live witness.
I had a
Definitions
feeling.
of
I thought
eyewitnesses.
Johnny
Okay.
Depp
All
was
right,
gonna
that
be
sounds
getting
good. All
down.
right, everybody knows their homework, right? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll see you in the morning.
I low key thought Johnny Depp was gonna be getting down, man. I thought Johnny Depp was gonna be getting down, man. I did. I thought Johnny Depp was gonna be on the stage today, man. Yeah, man. Hopefully, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you straight up, man. When Amber Heard was on there, man, it was up, man. It was up. It was up. That bitch. Hey, the camera be on that bitch. They need to put that bitch in the Aquaman too. That it's gonna get money if they put her in there. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna get money. Get Johnny in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's gonna get money. It's gonna be up. So I still feel like it's over, man. I feel like Johnny won. We just going through this shit right here. I feel like Johnny already won this shit though. Like, we've been streaming 3 hours and 17 minutes. 3 hours and 17 minutes of streaming. We probably did like 5 hours of streaming already. Me and Boogaloo getting down tonight, though, for sure. About 9 o'clock. Me and Boogaloo going up, man. We're going to talk about the vlog, hood vlogs. We're going to talk about the accolades he been receiving since he was up there. Really, we just trying to get used to going live and doing a back and forth live. I did one with Tavius, man, but nigga fucked up in the beginning of it, man. In the beginning of that one, that K-Dot Heart Part 5 episode. I don't even know what the name of that episode is called. But anyway, hey, man, we vibing, man. So I appreciate niggas coming to tap in with me. I appreciate everybody out there that came to tap in, watch this with the BossMackTopSoil. Like I said, me and Boogaloo gonna come back. We probably definitely gonna be in the morning with this again. I gotta learn how to set the reminders and all of that shit. And yeah, man, we appreciate y'all, knuckles. Yeah, we sure do. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. The Top Mac Nigga Show is a Boss Mac Industries production.